This was 2012. Over the years, I found out that the money coming in and the lifestyle you want to have, especially when you don't have support, financial support, nobody was giving me any money from anywhere. Before 2000, by 2000 and me 2013, I had 4 cars in the pool already. And I felt like, oh my goodness, I had so much money coming in. I was earning much more. But in December of 2013 to January, I decided to get into something else because I had what I had. Went back, sold 2 of the cars. Obviously the other 2 were still in the pool, so I still had money coming in, but not as much. So by the time it came in, and I kind of struggled to get through that year, in January of 2014, I just had to just push on, had to just push the job, because with all these things you need to invest, like with the drivers, training and everything. So it was a struggle. By April, I had gotten another car, which I had to, initially I was buying the cars with cash, but then I had to buy with the bank. To cut this long story short, I just didn't have at some point enough money to sustain the business anymore, but it was going. So I had issues like where I couldn't even fuel the cars. It would be a struggle. I'd have to maybe just hide away and tell the driver, oh, I'm not around. I mean, it was that bad. So I realized that, oh my goodness, I'm not making enough money to run this thing. I think I need to get into another business that will give me money every day. And then I think at the end of the day, that would be my passion, to make clothes. So I said, okay. So I got everything I needed. I kind of had always had that at the back of my mind. So I bought a few things. So I beg your pardon. So I got that started. So for an everyday income now, I find myself, this is the main question. I find myself, I'm struggling with this business because I want it to give me money every day so that I can prepare. I would pay everybody at the end of the month when I get paid with this other business now. Now, with this business of the everyday, I need to put in money. So I find myself like you kind of are just so squeezed. Okay, at the end of the month, and another thing, if they don't pay you on time, you're just almost frustrated. So you're just dragging from here. So it's in that chaos that I guess I'm in right now. So please, any help.
When you say someone's got their knickers in a twist, that's what it seems like. I mean, it's not a laughing matter, but we have to we have to be able to laugh at ourselves to find solutions. I know Uju is here, and Uju is with Chapel Hill, and she's going to be talking about money, I think. Uju, yeah? So I think what I would personally advise is that you see Uju after this. So that she looks through your finances, and you are volunteering your services. And thank you for keep nodding your head in acceptance. I appreciate it. Because I've also had the privilege of working with her company. And where you are is not uncommon. It happens to all of us at some point in our businesses when funding and financing is between the devil and the deep blue sea. But one of the things that we must invest in are systems, processes, and people. So it's not one thing, I beg your pardon. Because you need somebody like her to come and look at the records that you have. And if you're not keeping your records, then she cannot tell the story or interpret the story of your business. Because the truth is, figures don't lie. The figures are there, and the figures will tell you the truth about your business. What your costs are, what your operating costs are, what your capital costs are, what your recurring costs are. The figures will tell you all those things. And what it will do for you is allow you to make much better decisions and much better choices. So I would hook into Uju, as I have volunteered her and she has openly agreed to sort that part out for you. But please, if you want to run a business, you've got to be willing to invest in the structure that is going to bring your dream to reality. Because without the structure, it's not going to become a reality. You have the choice. You do. What do you want? What do you see? You create your universe in your mind, and the external universe will align, and your dreams will become a reality. It has done for the people she mentioned. It has done for people on different levels. So true, so real. So don't worry. There's help. That's why we're all here. To give a helping hand, to lend a helping hand, and to raise each other up. Thank you.
Very, very, very much. We're really, really grateful to see what you have cost. You've inspired us to want to be sharing our hearts now. You are the one that inspired us. All right, thank you so much, ma'am. We appreciate you. Please celebrate her. Now, this organization, you guys have seen their logos in various programs to act as support or sponsors for different events, and I'm glad that the person at the end of affairs is a woman. Now I understand why most of all those sponsorships have been coming through. Please put your hands together as I bring up Uju Iruku. She's the Managing Director, Chapel Hill, Denham, and she'll be speaking to us on the importance from the financial and economic perspective. This is the one part you don't want to miss. Please celebrate her. Let that clap for you. Come and sponsor your event.
Thank you, Mr. Kennedy, for volunteering my services. I have no choice but to accept. Yeah. I was speaking to Lady Realtors a couple of weeks ago, and someone asked a question and said, "Do you do consultations?" And I said, "Yes." And because you attended this forum, I will do a free consultation. And I turned away, and as I turned back, everybody had their hands up. And so I had to offer everybody a free consultation there, but it's not possible for me to control that today. All right, so good morning, ladies. I'm really very glad to be here. Now, I have a presentation which I must show. Okay, and this thing is not working. So very soon we're going to stretch out our hands and pray towards it. Hello, ladies. Okay. Because I want to show you data. Some statistics and code just to get you to understand the ecosystem. I just read that word, so I'm going to be using it a lot. The ecosystem. In financial services, we like to speak a lot of big English just to confuse people. Things that are so simple. This morning, there's a news flash that says Chapel Hill Denham and Rand Merchant Bank have been appointed advisors for the demutualization of the Nigerian stock exchange. What does that mean? And so my husband called me and said, "What is this big Oyibo?" The simply means privatization of NSC. That's all. But demutualization makes it sound really important. Okay, so how am I going to do this now, people? Please, let me answer your question, right? From the top of my head, you're doing too many things. You need to stop one, right? Disengage and concentrate on what's your passion and what will give you daily bread and butter. Okay, you don't need to do so many things. And it's good that you're learning to fail. So that next time, I hope you will not do the same thing. Obviously, you've used money from one business into a few other things. I don't know why you decided to report. You wanted to get quick money. You must resist the law of quick money. Next slide. Okay, do we have... Oh, is that your laptop? You see, that's the thing now. They said I must be digital, and so I have it on my phone. So yeah, we can use it. You do it. Thank you. How many of you are very digitally literate? Say the truth. You don't use your phone just to send SMS and receive calls. You do other things on your phone. It's very important.
And I have the USB cable here. Can I have my phone, please? Sorry, she has my phone. Yeah, okay, so we can leave it. All right, now what I wanted, and so you asked me to talk about financial and economic implications. That's another big one. Okay, so we can open it in there and plug it on. And plug it on Instagram. Okay. Oh, it's in Dropbox. Let me try and press it before. It's in my Dropbox. Yeah, so you can open it from there. Okay. And so what I wanted to do today was just show you some numbers about the SME markets in Nigeria and Africa. And then we talk about a few things that you can do to help your business and to scale. That's another word I learned, scalability. So, to scale. And scaling really is growing your business. So we talk about, is it a scalable business? The scalability potential. I love those words. When I used to go to investment bankers, I feel like I didn't go to school. I should tell all of you, my first degree is in English and literature. Yes. And then I went and got a job in an advertising firm, which I thought was what I loved. And then one day I went to see a client and I was selling advertising to them. And he says to me, you should be working in the bank. And I thought, really, doing what? Anyway, he convinced me and I joined the bank. And that was 1990. 1990 or 92. And that's it. That's how I became a banker. I was in the banking sector till 2000, yes. I was there till 2000, yes. And then I went on a few adventures and I went back into banking and then I came out. Now, what's my story? Sometimes, let me be honest with you, sometimes I get intimidated. And I see people, my boss is very good at it. He can look at the documents and he can tell you, no, those numbers are not correct. I didn't miss that award. So he asked me 2 times, someone I have to think. My father used to laugh at me and say, you don't know maths. WD. Okay, 1 minute. All right, my father is able to say to your customer, don't add, complete the interest. But really, that's why I make calculators. So if I can't add numbers in my head, and then there's so many bright, young, intelligent people, you recruit them and you make them your systems put together a fantastic presentation. I want to see the projections from January to December, and they give me the numbers. And once I get to this, which I crammed this the night before, and in the morning, I can read off the numbers. There's always a way around an issue. I don't have to be an accountant to deliver on my job. So long as I've got the skills, the talent, and the passion, those will always come through. I could know all the numbers if I don't have. I think this is a boring presentation. The person is just reading out figures to you because there's no connect between the data and the person's passion. You listen to me, and it's obvious that they're going to see me passionate about everything she does about women. But she could have come here and said to you, the business, and well, what's she talking about? So that passion has to come out and has to be interpreted by us all. Okay, so let me talk to you about data. Women spend 90% of their household expense every year. Like you said, it's not about I'm a woman, so give me the job. It's that I'm the best for the job, so give it to me, irrespective of whether they're men or women there. So at every time, what I'm projecting are my potential, my talents, my skill, and my competence. I must present myself in the way that I am better than everybody else there. Don't give me the job. I listened to the lady in this conference who said, don't give me the job because I'm nicer or I'm from the north. Give me the job because you need 10 people and I stood out. So that's what we must be working, that's what we must be going towards. Not just I'm a woman. So we spend 90% of our income on household. How many of us here have dependents? So people don't have it. Yeah, pays of people's school fees, etc. Sorry, I'm very casual in my presentation. Forgive me if I lapse into my native tongue. Please forgive me. It's just me. I'm trying to say things in English most of the time. So we spend a lot of our money, and we tend to think in terms of how much we spend. I'll give you an example of what I mean. If I make 100 naira,
I usually spend 90 naira. Do you agree with that? Invariably. Not understanding that if I make 100 naira, I should have at least 30 naira left that I'm setting aside for the future or for an emergency. Because for women, we tend to believe, we believe even in the worst and just hope that it will get better. That's why sometimes you're in a bad marriage, but you keep hoping that it will change. Sometimes you're in a job that doesn't give you anything, and you keep hoping that one day your boss is just going to have an epiphany and things will change. And so we've got to change our thinking and begin to understand that whatever we make, that income must be apportioned in the way that there's enough for you to save, invest, right, and think about your future. We continue. Is it okay? Okay, thank you. Now, women also tend to live longer than men. Do you agree? I'm sure some of you have grandmothers that are 120 years old, okay? And so what that then means is you must prepare for a longer life. How will you take care of yourself when you're outliving your spouse and the rest of your peers? Okay? The third thing also is that women, since the financial crash of 2008 and 2010, okay, is it on? Yeah, but that's not my presentation. Okay. Hallelujah, first of all. I must show this data. I worked hard, so I must, like it or not, you must wait until we see. Okay, but it tells a pretty picture and stories. So I'd just like to share it. And so the third thing is women have become co-breadwinners or full breadwinners in a home. You're contributing significantly. That's it. Thank you very much. You're contributing significantly to your household running. And so what then happens is you've got to bring out new arsenal. It's not how you dealt with things last year, but you deal with things now. And so you've got to rethink the way that you plan, the way you save, and the way you spend. You've got to rethink that. Otherwise, you and your family and your business will run into problems. The other thing is that women tend to run informal business structures. You're operating from your bedroom with your laptop or your phone, or from the boot of your car, or from a friend's place. We don't tend to spend a lot of time on structures. And corporate governance, that's not a big word. Corporate governance is a very, very important part of any kind of business. Doesn't matter how small you are, you must have structure. The day we said Rough and Tumble headquarters, I'm overwhelmed. It's on 3 floors, is it? Like, she had a section for, may I share this? If she had a section for the online business, she had a section for packaging, she had a section for the digital team, social media. I just thought, how did you think about all of this? Like she said, she invested in herself and she learned. Sit down and say you're doing a business and you don't bother to learn. Then what value are you bringing to your community and your economy? We must invest in ourselves. Okay, now my presentation is up. I want to switch. Okay, I've already talked about this. Okay, and just basic data. And that women now constitute 50% of the workforce. What's the percentage of women to men in Nigeria? Do you have an idea? 51.48, 51 point something, 48 point something. Okay, so there are more women than men in Nigeria, but it's not significantly so. It's not like 70-30. Okay, all right, the next slide, please. This I want to talk about. This is some information about SME businesses in Africa, especially with women. It says we contribute 20% to GDP. What does that mean? Oh, you're turning your faces away. It says we contribute 20% to GDP. Do you remember the rebasing of the Nigerian GDP last year? Is it last year? Early this year? Hello, doctor. What was it? What number was last year? From what number to what number? Sure. Okay, people parties I can't remember, so I can't even tell you. But I will find out before I leave here now. But the truth of the matter is, with a 20% contribution to GDP from SMEs, it means you form a significant part of Africa's output. And so SMEs are not what you want to joke with, but rather we need to begin to concentrate on them. It says here now that 90% of all businesses are SMEs, right? And 50% of African SMEs are women-led or women-owned. Now, we can differentiate between women-owned and women-led, but the bottom line is that there's a woman at the helm of affairs, either directing from the back or directing from the front. And it says that Africa has a population of 35% below the age of 50. So which means there's a huge youth potential for population, and that population needs to be properly motivated and, what's the word now I want to use? Motivated and nurtured and engaged so that we can get the best out of them. Now, if you look at all of this now, it says 70% of rural population. Now, I was at a conference, I'm just not trying to impress you guys. I was at a conference in Berlin last week, and we're talking about microfinance for women. Now, microfinance banks are the bedrock of rural development because what they do is they provide credit to the woman who can come to the city. In some places in Nigeria, there's no bank in their village. There's no bank in their local government. They have to walk, you know. Let me tell you a small story here now. I love to tell stories. I have a client who works in Chevron, and he shared with us that one of their, he shared this at a public gathering, that one of their CSR projects was to go to those very far away places and do either a borehole or something. And so he went to a community, and when he got there, and while we were driving, he thought, what would we do here? And he just kept saying, empty dry land. There were no schools, no hospitals, nothing. And so we thought we'll build a hospital and a school. That's what will serve these people. And they called a community meeting, right? And the village head stood up and said, we don't want a school, we want a borehole. And he was, how can you deny the children an education, offering it free? We will build the school, we'll equip it. All you have to do is get a teacher and the children will come. And the guy says, no. Our women have to walk 4 hours every day to get water from the nearest river. When that river dries up in the Hamatan, we have to do 6 hours. Think about it, 6 hours walk just to get one bucket of water, which lasts you one day. And so he says, half the time our women are captured, they are killed, they are raped, there's a lot of danger to them. And so give us a borehole. Another year, come back and give us school. And at this point in time, the borehole is what we need. So you can imagine what kind of community that is, right? And so then, maybe there's one person there who knows to speak and will teach them. So then getting the borehole is the most important thing. And so our rural communities need to be developed. Financial services to that level to meet them. Next slide. Next slide. Nigeria says we have 17.6 million SMEs. Now, this is talking about formal SMEs, not the ones from the boot of your car. Formal, recognized, established SMEs. Okay, and 17.6 million. How many are we in the country? Let's use 170 million. That's only about 10%. Recognized SMEs. To put a number on those that are not formally registered, will probably be another 10 million or so. And we contribute here 46%. That's almost 50% to the GDP. I'll show you a slide that's very interesting. The female entrepreneurs account for 40% of the ownership of SMEs here in Nigeria. So if there are 100, 42 of them are run and owned by women. So we are folks that need to be properly led, not recognized. And then, of course, it tallies also with the same figure. Remember that Africa has a population of under 50, under 45. 35% of population is under 35 or 45. And 80% of those SMEs are excluded from the financial market. And most importantly, access is very limited. And most people borrow from a bank to start a business. What kind of opportunity is this here? If we look at it, anything above 5% is exciting. Let's go from the bottom. Telecoms. These are the sectors where SMEs are prevalent. You can see where you fit in. Okay, so telecoms. Do you have a pointer? Okay, so let's start from here. That's 5% and above. Telecoms, yeah, health, education, media and advertising, agriculture, ICT, and the largest is food and beverages. Manufacturing, those of us who make slippers, beads. If you make beads, are you a manufacturer? How do you describe yourself? What services? Do you have a what? Beads factory? Do you want all your beads? All your beads? Okay, all right. Are you in any of this? Help me now. It's not easy facing all you and you're just looking at me. So are you in any of these sectors? Education, 6%. Now, what this just tells us is, and this is from NBS, National Bureau of Statistics, it says that there are high growth sectors, food and beverages, manufacture, building construction, and real estate. But ICT, not so much, but yes, ICT. Why are those three so, why are they high growth? Huh? Belonging. It will be under, ICT here is more infrastructure, yeah, and so things like providing bandwidth, internet services, etc. Services would be where your blogging and your social media, etc. come in, yeah. So it's going to be more about the provision of basic infrastructure, like Smile, sponsor. Okay, what was the question I asked? Thank you. Okay, because of our population. Do you understand? Remember what I said? See, you've got to be able to tie numbers in so you understand. Let me share something with you. My father-in-law is 82, I think. Every day he takes, I can't remember what it's called now. Tender board committee paper. Have you heard of it? It's a publication from the federal government tenders board, and it lists all the contracts that are being done in Nigeria. All the RFPs, requests for proposals and quotations. And what he then does is he takes and he sends it to his business development manager. Yes, he's still working at it too. And then he says, do proposals to these people for insurance services. So he understands how, he's a 2-year-old man, he understands how to get business for himself. And he says that once you get a grasp of the tenders board publication, you know what's going on anywhere. Because insurance is important for any kind of business. So when BP calls for an RFP or anybody is going to build a road or anything, he finds things like that. That because you know the source. If any sector you're in, what's the source of the business that you're going to do? Where do you want to get your clients from? Where are you going to scale your business? Okay, you have to understand where that is. The same with the budget. How much is allocated to education? How much for curriculum development, teacher training? I remember years ago, I had a colleague who used to say to me, the budget of First Bank for training is 300 million naira. I just need 10%, 30 million. It's not too much. 10%, you should give it to me and I'm happy. Do you know the budget of training if you're a consultant for any large organization? How do you for a transaction today? That's about anyway. So looking at that, so because of our population, these places, especially the old construction and real estate, it's going to grow fast, especially the provision of affordable housing. Now, you may sit there thinking, how can I provide affordable housing? I don't have the land, I don't know how to build, okay? But is there anyone in that sector here? You don't want to put up your hand. We don't know how much money you need. See where all of us is. Yes, ma'am. I agree with you. And food, clothing, and shelter is always important in a fast or a large population. If you were 2 million people, We can't scale that. Over 170 million and growing. I know how many people have had babies in the last 4 weeks that I know about. So we're a fast-growing population. And so those 3 areas will always boom. I'm not saying you should get into that, but keep that at the back of your mind so that if you're doing services, if you're doing any of this, please grab a glass of water. Thank you. Okay, next slide, please. This is the part that I like always to have a conversation around. What for me, when the slide in your face, I tend to do that is cover everything. Because you don't have to imagine the cost of running your own 50% of your costs. Yes? How do you think the salon? Yes, tell me that it's like so obviously, mission is so critical to the success of any business. You must be informed. If you don't know about your industry, then you're failing. You must know your competitors. You must know the best providers of the kind of service that you provide. You must know the worst. You must know what number you are. Right? When we do in financial services, it's easy. There are 20 banks or 22 banks, and we know the top 5. So much so that we have tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, and the others. Yes? So you've got to understand that when you're doing your business. Who do you want to model your business after? Who do you want to see as a role model, a mentor, or some company that you know is leading the way in what you're doing? When I worked in one of these international banks, we had a slogan, leading the way in Asia, Africa, and the Middle East. Yes, that's what we used to say. So are you leading the way in Asia, Africa, and the Middle East? And then it was a British bank, but we're leading the way in Asia. We have the most branches in Asia. Yes, ma'am. Unfair competition. Okay. It's when someone has an advantage over you because their brother is the business development manager, or they've gotten insider information, and so you're not competing on the same level. Yeah, I've done jobs where I presented to someone, right? So the proposal being presented times. You must understand the dynamics of the way you're growing. Otherwise, you just have to what are you asking me now? But yet it's very popular. Why? Why? Okay, let me use Ghana and for years we all use it. Okay, thank you. What's the other one to Indomie? Indomie and the other one. I don't know the name. I only know Indomie. Why? Can brandy succeed alone? To be pushed and so that pushes accompanied all the and many of the pushing Indomie. So your branding can be, but how is it a beautifully branded product that nobody's buying? Yeah, this is not to push that brand. Now, if I start here saying to you today, she's as part of the I'm sorry, room temperature water, please. That's another big word. Room temperature water. Thank you. Oh, wow. I love it. That's the picture that I'm prepared to. Now, low or no access to finance. We're going to talk a bit about that next. Why? Is that a problem for us? Well, of course, it's possible to raise the money and raise it, and I 5 minutes, how? Yeah. Okay, go on. Oh dear. And the most difficult place is a bank. And yes, no. And the funny thing is, even the entrepreneurs will also not consider it. What are the typical ways in which you can raise money for a business outside of the loan? Family and friends. Your savings, how many of us have savings that can do the business? Okay? Oh, let me make this sound really nice and sexy. I took a year off work, but in real sense, I got put out of my last job. And so in that year, I had two sisters who are teachers, so we decided to start a school. And when I wanted to do that, I had no money, I had no work, remember? And so what I tried to do was put funds together from people that could share the vision with me to start the school. And I learned a valuable lesson. You don't get money from the places you expect. You get money from the most unlikely sources. And people who believe in you are willing to put money behind your passion. And the final lesson I learned was your passion must shine through, because that's what convinces the person to go with you. If you don't have it well thought out in your head, you don't forget that business plan. The business plan will always be beautiful. Everything will add up. The projections will go from 10% growth in year 1 to 20 to 35 to 50. That's how we do it, right? But the truth of the matter is, what are the options? If you get feedback that your product is not good enough, what are you going to do? Or are you just here saying, no, it will work, it will work, it will work? When you go to the back, thank you, or it's not my portion. And my friend said, if it is not everybody's portion, whose portion is you? Who is learning now to correct? Projection. I was thinking, I want to okay, and I'm looking for. Because if I do together, but the biggest one is just a sheet of paper. Execution is what matters. And if you don't have the passion and the resilience to execute and stay through the long haul, why would I put my money into? Next slide. Oh no, sorry. Okay. Okay. Now, three things that are very important in access to finance, and I'll wrap with this. Is one, you must build capacity. So that means building capacity means you must be informed, right? You will learn as much as you can about it. You're supposed to build the resources basic knowledge and those small children, you must learn. And you must say to people, separate your from your business finances. I tell the story. One of the ladies that I mentored, I said to her, "Is your business successful?" She said, "Yes, she's been on for 10 years." And I said, "Okay, how much do you make?" She said, "I don't know, but we can pay our rent." For her, that's the measure of success. Yeah, books, which was that. I said, "Okay, yeah, no structure." And the most important thing you must do is keep proper records. You know, everything is there. They sell it at what's that place at bottom? Office depots or something. They got 50 cash vouchers. It's 100 naira for one or 1,000 naira. Why? Every penny you spend, make sure you record it. Because if you're not doing that, you have no idea what you're spending. You have no idea of your costs. How then can you value your business? If someone comes to you and says, "I want to invest with you," what's the value of this business? What are you going to do? How much further do you put in it? It's at 1 billion naira. I thought you were, oh, how did you arrive at this? I have contracts from ASL, from Lufthansa, and from this. I said, "This future contracts today, what's the value today?" I said, I want to put 400 million naira. But to have, that's not how we do the work here. Until you strip out all of it, you can't value of sure, execute the job, and then we know that you have the capacity to do a 1 billion naira contract. But when you are here today, you're only at 400 million. So you must understand that. Pay yourself a salary. Sure, say, how much do you sell today? Every month, what happens to that one? Every month, yeah, every month, credit time up. Every month, put some money away for yourself and let the business run independently. Don't mix the two. Then you confuse issues. If you can afford it, get a bookkeeper. Even if it's a HMD graduate who is on holiday, tell him, "Come and sit and look at my books." Give him your bank statement. There are free apps on Yahoo Finance and Investopedia. I can't remember the other name. When you have basic accounts, you can tie into your bank account and go back to it. I need to balance America and my bank account. To balance bank account. I said, "Why?" She said, "How much money do you have?" I said, "I was in high school." She said, "Oh, sure." She's learning in high school. That gives you, I think it's attached to your check. Credits. And the story my sister loves is that's how a woman found out that the bank was stealing from her account. What many customers? Every month. Now you say, So just the taxi, you would learn to balance your checkbook. I ask you how much is in your account. You say, about 30,000. Is it 30,298 or is it 30,150? Do you know how much is the bank charging you on COT, on VAT, on whatnot? Do you know that? Or you just look at the balance, they have 20K, you go to the ATM and take 22,750. Yeah? You must pay attention to the details because that is the difference. Like, I always say the customers who are successful and rich are those customers who come back. They have a lot of money, but they come back and say to you, interest was meant to be 17,500, but you paid 17,480. Why? You and I, you have only 10,000 there. You don't even notice. But the man who has 5 million, you people. So you can take it back up. And this is okay. What's the last thing? Access to capital. Multiply your structure in your business, and your corporate governance is well structured. What happens? You can attract investors and you can actually get money to do your business. It could be an angel investor, it could be an equity investor, it could be family and friends, but you will find someone who finds your idea and your structure attractive enough that they want to put money in it. At this point, I have to take a break. And I'm not taking questions. Thank you.
Any questions? Thank you so much. Another round of applause for her. You know how we have been boring. Formation, Valiva, Smile, management, communication, guardian, and I want to see happening here. Okay. Until you really see your name on our list of sponsors, we're sure that 2 years afterwards, yeah. We celebrate the child for me. Fantastic. Thank you so much for continuing us next year. Okay, we'll be taking questions. Okay, he's not storytelling. Let's just go straight to.
Morning, children. I'm Senator Palasime. I am the CEO of Sonia Consulting. They are into public transport management. And I was looking through the list of whatever they're talking about management, they're talking ICT, and then I didn't see anything on transport. And it's so interesting because some of us have done some research, extensive research for transportation in Lagos. We realized that I don't know, it's down everywhere because it looks like people in charge so but it's capital intensive and so I'm trying to encourage people like us in that field because it's a lot. You are working with men, you are working with people that are semi-literate or totally illiterate. And then they have to deliver. It means you have to invest in them, you have to trust them, even if you are not trustworthy. You have to have a level of trust, you have to have a level of training, you have to have a level of policy, you have to have a level of insurance, have a level of mechanic and all. It's all in one. So that's the challenge we've been facing, and I've learned a lot from whatever because you like thing for us. It's a very important. It's very, very so please just
About the trainers. You're not providing infrastructure for transport, i.e. rail, roads, etc. What you're doing is providing service. So you do cars or you're doing boats, etc. So it will come under services. But I apologize. I encourage you. Receive the encouragement.
Okay, I know I was going to be after it, so I need to just see what you think I got from what she said. One that actually struck me was when she said you get 19 places. You know those people that you always say they'll give you money, they end up not giving you. Sometimes they have something else to do with their money and they didn't have any budget, so don't be angry. Ask somebody else that will buy it to your vision. Because sometimes when you ask one person and the person doesn't respond to us, just to discourage. Yeah, because that's one of the greatest things to be so money. I'm not asking money, but money from the most unlikely places. Don't think of one particular person that wants to do it, or because people money. Maybe they don't have plans for your kind of business. So when you go there, you don't present your business well, they don't give you the deal, you feel that one doesn't like me because the woman before just say that passion was always wake you up and make it so not that way. One thing and it's my passion, it's my talking on radio, is my there's some things you don't do naturally, you know what I mean? So whatever that thing is your passion. So whether there's money for it or not at that time, just keep an eye on your passion to guide you, and then before you know what's happening, you start making money from it. Okay, so it also said that it is important to know what or who you model your business after. It's very important. Don't do something because somebody else is doing it. I remember one time when pure water business was, oh my God, people had cholera, typhoid, everybody wanted to do pure water business, not to rely. Just find what it is you know how to do, and then find someone who is doing it well and learn from the person. But don't do it because somebody else is doing it. Do it because you love to do it and want to be better at doing it. So I learned that from that. All right, 2 or 3 more questions. Don't mind that. Okay. Okay, so now yes, ma'am. You're asking next, ma'am.
Okay, good morning, Adrian. Thanks for your presentation. It's very informative. My name is Anita Lawal. I run Mamanet. It's a community for young mothers and mothers to be. And I'm currently under incubation at the Co-Creation Hub in Yaba. So the only reason for now why I keep a firm eye on my books is because I'm required to do it every month. We have an accountant that works with all the startups and takes all our books and everything. But it's a struggle, especially when you're trying to do the business and you have your day-to-day things to do, to worry about finances. Because every single time the accountant comes and says, oh, I'm here, they send me your books, I sweated. So how especially when you're running a business from scratch and you're trying to do this and to do that, how it's easy to say, you know, keep an eye on your finances, but how is it something you do every day or you just do it to do that? I mean, what's the best advice for this?
Shortcuts to financial success, none whatsoever. You must pay the price. The same way, there are no shortcuts to a first class degree or a GI. You must do the work. YouTube says, you must do that. You see, finances have to stand. The finances is too important a part of our lives for you to just give it a question. You must pay attention to it. If you don't have the skills, find somebody. I just told you now, I use a young HND board. Every time he's on holiday, he comes to the school and sorts out the books. That's the way that I do it. And then once a year, I have an auditing firm and audit the books. But and I insist every Friday when I go to school, I want to see the petty cash vouchers and see how much has been spent. There's no, I can't tell you one day it's really one and it's going to happen. You've got to do the work and you've got to be able to follow through and consistently do it. Keep a record of how you spend money. I mean, if you read Investopedia or Yahoo Finance or Lenders, I'm showing up now. There's some more websites you can go on. It tells you create an Excel sheet or even a Word document. Today I had 500 and I spent 80. You see, once you get the habit for it, it's easy to do. I don't have a little money and you have that habit. When you have 100 million, the habit is still there. But if you don't get it right now, when the money comes, it's really more difficult. Remember how easy it is to pay time when your salary is 100K. When your salary is 1 million, you begin to say, well, Father, you know that I love to hear you. It's the same principle. Yeah, so you've got to get it right from the small bit. Please don't toy with financial prudence. Okay, because it's a very local of your business. when you invite people to come and invest in your business, people must see your business. Right? And if you don't have anything to show them, let's say it's a slight problem, not a major, but a slight problem. Shut your eyes, learn about it. I said to you that there's a software, there's an app, okay, that actually helps you connect your bank account to it, and then it reconciles and gives you how much you spend on a monthly or weekly or daily basis. Please just Google it and find. I can't remember the name. If I remember before I did, I will let you know. It makes it easier for you, and it's free. So you use it, and that's it. Okay, and make sure your payments are recorded, either with a check or a transfer, that you get an alert. Like you can print out or file. Okay, learn how to send text messages as an email to your business account, so you can print out and file. These are just little things that you can do to help yourself. Financial prudence is two important things. I know a lot of us ladies, we don't like to do that. Enough, you can keep track. Used to buy that shoe, that bag, the ashwebi. You can keep track of it. So when it comes to your business, you just think, oh, I wish somebody else could do this. So just borrow a bit of that event in or that matter and bring it into your business and it will work. Okay, thank you. That's the last question.
I just ask one very direct. What do you do with financier turns you down? When you go, let me be very simple, I'm trying to be very simple. What investor, when you're not investor, when you go looking for finance for a new business and they do not believe in what you're doing behind, and suddenly you grow and they come running after you, slap them, walk them away, or say, I made it. And then it has to do with my story, but that's not the thing. I swear I'm asking a question. Okay. You can answer everybody else.
Okay, I think this is my personal opinion. I think so long as you're getting value from any relationship, you will keep it. Let me say personal, and I'm just saying this. The man I eventually married dated one of my best friends. But I married him because she threw him away, and I graciously took him up and I just married him. Don't tell me myself that. But you understand, the reason I'm sharing this with you is if it's your life, your future, your passion, don't care. If they're going to bring value to your business, well, they turned you down the first time, take their money now. They're interested. So do a bit of shakara. No, I can only give up 2%. Let them negotiate and let them. Is that stop me from going fast? Okay. So do a bit of shakara. Say, no, I can only give up 2% of my business. No, I don't need the money now. Oh, if you can't give me 100 million, I'm not interested. Because they went there when they suffered. But then, now you're in a negotiation. Now it's your market. So you set the rules and deal with it. But please take the money and use it. Someone is coming back because I'm not a beautiful bride. I will do shakara well. Okay? And that's what happens with businesses. You've done the sweat. It becomes successful. Everybody who turned you down before is going to show up. And they're now coming with nice mouth-watering offers. So choose the one that will bring you the best value and run with them, but on your terms. Yes, ma'am. I'm very interested in the due diligence process, the process that you do internally before you're not the one that's handed out to outsource to maybe auditors or something. And how much of it is instinct as well. So I read that that's an element. So don't take pictures and you don't know, I'm not in that is an element of the decision-making process when it comes to investing in businesses. Okay. She wants to know what kind of, that's the last. Oh, sorry. Okay, she said sorry. So can I go? You're running for time. So may I take a seat? All done. I will talk with you when we're done. Thank you very much, ladies.
Okay, Invicta Africa, thank you for sponsoring also. All right, Tori specifically asked that I, thank these people. She said to me, one of them is actually beneath my wings. So I have to say thank you to then the first person is Adriana Lacruz Baniva. She says, Adriana, a good show where everything's good. Thank you for doing today. She's okay. Thank you so much. No, like that. Thank you so much. That's about me. God bless you. We appreciate it. Then, of course, Dr. Wura, you're like, yay! My makeup. So can you make sure you call her name? She says, beneath my wings. I say, okay, I'm going to do that. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. I will celebrate. All right. Now, support people so we can also make your needs. All right. What we are going to do is going to be, really exciting, and might be coming up here is Tia. She's the CEO of business and the director IKEA Nigeria. We also have Diana Jamakani, the founder director of A Design House. And of course, our very own Vike Gulesi, and we have someone who has done Nigeria proud all over the world. You know the things that are happening now in Emirates. I just know. Somebody has paid the price already. So we love her, we appreciate her, we thank her for being here. Viola Latish, the founder of Grooming for Greatness. Also the founder of Viola Latish. Please put your hands together for her. You know, somebody has called for water and then just walking, and it just looks like, somebody had called the water. Everything we're enjoying now, she had done it already, so I don't care who's there now. All right. I'm supposed to be on this panel, but I'll be standing now. Maybe I'll see. We're still expecting some other people. Mrs. Adenowo will be joining us shortly, and then some other people too. All right. The first question, in no particular order. Laying the right foundation. Now, what is ensuring you have built a successful platform to start off with? So what are the critical elements in ensuring that you have built a successful platform to start off with? Thank you, everyone, and I hope we're all having a great woman entrepreneurship. I think everything sort of builds on what Anthony has said and what Vicky also said, which is the number one thing is, as an entrepreneur, you first have to start. I mean, that's the way you have to do. You have to start thinking about it, and you have to start. And I think there's a lot of fear when you're thinking of things and you don't have enough people validating what you are trying to do. I think we live in a society where it's very difficult for us to validate what other people are doing. And so what we have to do as women, and also train men, because most of you are raising men, is help people understand how to validate people's ideas. Help people understand that it's important. Because every time I go places, I see when people stand up to ask questions, I have comments. I find that a lot of it is rooted in not being validated. So I think it's really important to find people that can validate your idea. Harita, surround yourself with people that can validate your ideas and really work on how to develop your ideas. The second thing around laying the foundation is getting the right experience. I know that everyone has a different path, and so it's really important to understand your path. It's really important for some people to work in environments where they gain experience, start a business while they're doing that, and then go off and run their business. I think what happens a lot of times, which I've noticed with entrepreneurs that don't have, there are differences between entrepreneurs that sort of just start right away, and then entrepreneurs that come from working in formal environments. And so one of the things that you learn by working in an organization is how to the numbers, because you can't tell a story to your shareholders, you can't tell a story to your boss without understanding the numbers. I mean, the first thing when someone comes to me and says, we want to buy something, when I worked in any organization, is what is the motivation? How can you write a motivation and send this? So you learn quite a bit when you go into formal employment, as people say in Nigeria, but there's value in that, and that can help you build the right foundation that can lead you into running your own business. This doesn't mean that you don't start your own business. It just means you're gaining some experience while you're trying to develop your idea, develop your business plan, And also start, because you can't start your business while you're working. And I think those are sometimes, there's a lot around entrepreneurship today that just says, just go out and start. But I think it's important to also get really good experience to learn how to run a business from people that are already doing that. I think some people are very lucky, they don't have to have that skill. And then in that case, you have to go out and learn the different things, which is you have to learn how to love your numbers. You have to learn how to be familiar with your numbers. You don't have to be able to do it, but you have to be able to tell the story the numbers are telling. And I think this is one area that you can't be lazy about. If you can't do it, you have to find a partner, and you have to have a business partner. Not everyone works well with partners. I think this is a deficiency in Nigeria. I think there's a value in partnerships, and therefore you can really find people that complement the skills you have and the skills you don't have. I'm going to leave it at that and let other people answer. Thank you.
Okay, for me, one of the things would be clarity. When I say clarity, I'm talking about vision and asking yourself, why? Why am I doing this? What is motivating me to do this? Who needs this product or this service? Have I been able to identify the people that need this product or this service? How am I going to bring it to market? How am I going to find the market that needs this product and this service? How am I going to brand it in such a way that it's going to tell the story that I wanted to tell and appeal emotionally to the people who either need it or want it? So those are some of the things that have to be addressed. Now, moving on from there, you start. So you've got 2, 3 people, 4 people working. Sometimes what happens is a business just takes off and you don't have the capacity to cope. And I've been there. There's never enough hours in the day to do all the things that need to be done. So what do you need to do? You need to sit down and articulate what is being done on a daily basis and literally do a mind map. This is just, we're here and these are the things that need to be done. So that there is clarity for everybody that is working within the business, and they know what the results that you're trying to achieve. Because where there's confusion, you're never really going to reach your full potential. So structure is something that you can't negotiate. The same way you must know the numbers. Structure is something else that you cannot negotiate. You have to be willing to give people job descriptions. You have pegs into round holes. Hire right. Not give people a job, but give people a job because they connect with what you are doing. Once people connect with what you're doing, they will follow you and they will be passionate about the work that they do. What is the remuneration? You must be clear. What are your company policies? What are your HR policies? When there is clarity on all these things, you will not only get people's hands, you will get their hearts and their heads. But in fact, to get people, you must first get them in their hearts, their hands to do the work. It's called the 3H principle. Because the people are the bridge between your products, your services, and your customers. They're the people that are the front line of your business. They're your chief drivers. They're the ones that will get data from your customers. They're the ones that will talk to your customers, connect with that. The shopping experience or whatever, the service experience is so amazing that people keep coming back. So foundation in a business is a necessity. I heard you saying, the young lady doing marmalade, saying it was tedious. The truth is, how far does your vision go? Because if your vision needs to be bold, it needs to be audacious, and it needs to go far. Because what do they say? Reach for the stars and you might catch, I can't remember, the sky. But you want to catch the stars. So it can't be tedious. You have to be willing to commit to whatever it takes to win the prize. And there's always a price. And you have to be willing to pay that price. And it's a differences. structure. You will invest in people and they will need you. Brothers and sisters don't live together. Everybody, the only people that cling together are husband and wife. And that sometimes, is a story for another day. Truly. So, learn to let them go. It can be painful. It can be, it is bloody painful. Because you think of the money that you've invested in that person. But think of the seed you planted in that person. And think of how you've contributed to making your country a better place. Our country a better place. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I think I am one of the few people, or probably like everyone else, that have been through every single mess up that they've talked about today. Everything. I've gone from down to low to break with my finances, every single thing. People left me, everything. So, but the only thing I believe in is my brand. And my brand is to make brands. So, this is the most important thing. Once you start your business and you have pinpointed exactly what you want to do and where you want to reach, and you decided on, I'm going to start from the beginning. A brand is actually, it's like a person that's really born. Name it, work on the education of this brand, every single thing that will make this person, this baby, a complete person. Once this person becomes an adult, then you let it out on the street. Or so on the street, please. I have a teenager on the street. So basically, this is what your brand is. So if you truly believe in your brand and you start working on your brand, you have to start with a list of items. One of them is where you want it to reach. You have to know what you give your brand. My brand is and education brand, whatever it is, and you give yourself a few adjectives. Don't give 1,000 adjectives, just give a few so that you can concentrate on one direction. Start giving it a tone of voice. This is gonna be, this is the way it's gonna be projected. To give it a mission, a vision. The logo, which everyone thinks is a brand, is the one that comes at the very end. Once you develop this personality, you name it and you design it. Of course, we'll probably go through a lot of this throughout the conversation. Today, one of the things I was gonna say that if you stop believing in your brand for a day or 2 days or 3 days, you will lose your target. And what actually makes you successful is once you carry this brand, I'm sure you all know, throughout the years, and this brand grows to become a mature brand, and then you can, even if you don't look at it, it's just continue this direction. So this is, I think, for me on my side.
Hello, everyone. Okay, so when they called me first, I was happy because I said, okay, I'll speak first. And I just heard everyone. I thought, oh my God, they both said what I wanted to say. Okay, for me, like Mrs. Lacey said, the vision. I'm a designer, so I understand that you don't build a house, you don't plan a space without developing your vision first. And I found that a lot of people go into business and you just say, oh, I like this, I like ice cream, so I'm bringing it to this, or, you know, I'm just a good event planner and they plan 2 events, but you don't think it through. And that's what sustains you. I've been in business for almost 20 years and I published for like maybe 8 years and I've been consistent. Now, like, I don't know, like most people, I didn't start with a clear vision. I mean, it was just like, okay, I started with interior design, and I thought, you don't have magazines, okay, I'll do a magazine. Then, no, I'll do this, just nice. I'll do one. You don't have exhibitions. I just went to Milan. I'm going to come back and start an exhibition. And that's what most of us do. But if you think through your vision, sit down and say, what do I plan to do? What is this vision about? Who is my target? who am I meeting? Because you start a business for a particular people, it's just to help. I went for a marketing conference and I was speaking, and I was saying we've been marketing for ages. In the caves, you came with a monkey and said, "Hi, I need your cow," and you just exchanged. And that's what we do when we do business. You have something, you have an idea, and you want to give it to your country, you want to give it to your nation, you want to give it to the world, but you need to sit down and think it through. And like a building, the higher your vision, the more time you need to sit down and understand it. You sit down and say, this vision, what is it? Think through every single possibility. I'm really excited because we think, oh, we're in Nigeria and we can just do anything. But the world is becoming global. We're having a lot of competition. Now there's no place for substandard work. So you need to sit down and think through that. Listen, I'm living in a global world and I have to do things right. So I've said the vision, you must have a vision. You must have structure, like Ms. Lacey said. You know how you hire people? I've hired my brother. Sometimes they say, I was a daddy, that's why I didn't like, who is this? I've hired friends that decide and say, oh, okay, so you just got how many million? Or you see my family, I want half of it. And I'm thinking, you didn't have a job and I thought I was doing good. You don't play around, get the right people in the positions, be consistent, that keeps you, and that makes investors or whoever your people you're trying to reach out to come to you. Thank you.
Very well said. People, process, and systems. What are their roles in achieving your vision? So when you talk about people, the process, and the systems, what role do they play in achieving your vision? So you're going again. You said people, process, and systems. Okay. Well, I think they're everything. I mean, I don't think you can have a business without the right people. And I don't think you can have the right people without investing in people. You have to invest in people. I always, there's a quote that says, we can't invest in people, it's too expensive. And the CEO says, oh, then they will leave us. And the CEO says, what happens if we don't invest in them and they stay? And you see that a lot of times in companies where they don't invest in people, and those people have been there for 15 years, 30 years. And when you talk to people, they're like, oh, this is how we've always done it. Because no one has taken the time to invest in them. And so if you're going to, you should basically make sure you find the right people that company. I always important to understand personalities. Because people do different, and some of the most successful companies, if you look at McKinsey, if you look at PwC, where people have to work in teams, they really look at the personalities of the different people that they put on those teams. And so once you start to understand different people that work for you, you'll understand how to engage them and manage them. There's a free website called 16 Personalities. I make sure that everyone that comes to work for me, now that I work on my own talent test, I want to know who you are, how you work. It's called 16 Personalities. 16. It's free. So once someone takes it, they send the results to me. I look at it. I make family members take it. If I believe knowing how people operate, how people process information, it's very critical. I have a few people that work for me. They're not morning people. I'm a morning, evening, midnight person. So for me, there are no time limits. But I know the type of people they are, and so I needed them to come and do. I said, look, we can do this now and be here till 11 p.m. or we can come tomorrow at 8 a.m. I knew they would say they wanted to do it now because they're just not morning people. 8 a.m. for me is normal. That's not my day. So that was not a problem for me. But it's important to know the type of people you work with. So it's really important for you to hire complementary skills. I mean, someone said they don't like to beg for money. I understand what that is. But number one, once you own your own business and do what you do, you have to become a chief begging officer. There's nothing wrong with begging people. Yes, don't worry. Ask. The worst thing to say is no. You move on to the next person. But you need sometimes, and if you're not a salesperson, make sure you hire for that skill. I know a lot of people that say, you know what, I love building businesses, I love building systems, but I know this is solving people's problems, but I can't go out there every day and beat it down the door. Hire the right people, invest in the right people. Processes, I feel like we've talked about a lot. Uju has talked about it. Nancy has talked about it, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it. And the lady from Mama Lex, who the guys gave you a big shout out yesterday at the Women's Conference, so they're very proud of the work you're doing and the work they're doing with you. I mean, I think you're at the beginning stages of really putting processes in place. And what happens with processes, it gives you opportunities to grow. I worked in places where we set up processes where I can be anywhere in the world and I know the business is running. This is the kind of process, and I don't mean CC cameras because that's like a new thing now. Everyone believes they just have to be spying on their employees and that helps you keep your business running. What helps you keep your business running is putting the right systems in place. Everything is digital now. Digitize your business. You can get reports from anywhere in the world of what's happening, what type of sales. Make sure you're connecting to the right software. There are tons of software online. Google is your friend. Look for the softwares that can help you support your businesses. If you start small, there's a lot of free software. As you grow and you expand your business, you'll have to bring in some enterprise software. Keep all these things in the back of your mind, but this is the stuff this is also part of you developing yourself as an entrepreneur. Go to conferences, be in places like this. Every day you pick up and you learn something new. Be mindful of your time as an entrepreneur, but make sure you're out there learning and investing in yourself. This is how you're going to find out about the right processes for your type of business and your type of industry that helps you run your business, that helps you scale and expand your business. If you have one shop today, you start to think about how you can expand and how you can scale. If that's the type of business you want to build, and you need the right processes to do that and the right systems. Sometimes it's software, sometimes it's about building the right people. You need to find what's right for your business. Thank you.
I believe I've said what there is to say about people, and I think Viola has done an excellent job as well. So I'm just going to share an experience on what happens in Northern Tonga. So we have an ERP system that we run that runs the entire organization. And it begins from when an item is designed, it is imputed onto the system, the number of buttons, the amount of thread, if it zips, the yardage, all of this is imputed onto the system that automatically calculates its price and its costs. So it gets coded, it moves from there to the garmenting section where it is stitched, where it is joined. It'll carry a unique code and go through that entire process. It'll move from the cutting to the stitching, to the finishing, to the pressing, and then it goes into the finished goods store. From there, it will go into warehousing. In warehousing, it's already on the system. All they will put on it is a tag and the price. From there, they have access to the inventory of all the stores that we have. And the entire inventory of the organization is sitting on this platform. So what store needs shirts in H4? What do they have? Or what did they sell yesterday? You press the buttons and it will give you the information. This is why I can be sitting here today sharing experience with you, because there is a process in place. From the store, if a customer comes in, the customer agrees with the information. It helps the shopping experience. You come in and you've forgotten what size trousers you bought for your child 6 months ago. She goes to the system and she will tell you exactly what you bought 6 months ago or a year ago, or in fact a year and a half ago. What age it was, what color it was, what it was, she can print it out for you because she has your customer, she has your history.
What does this mean for the business? Data that we can mine to know who our customers are and what they're buying. It means we can better target our marketing because we know the people who are buying things for girls and the people who are buying things for boys. So systems and processes are part of the foundation of your business. They are not negotiable. You have to put them in place as you begin to grow. What has happened to us is that we have a lot of private equity firms that have been coming to us for the past 1.5 years. As producers, we're the price bride, and we're going to sell at the right price. Because God knows I have invested enough. And I really need to take my sailboat and sail into the sunset.
Being the third person, I'm worried about you. They keep saying the stuff that I need to say. So I'm thinking you should. That's okay, we're learning. I think I'm going to skip the process and system because they've said most of what we use. I just want to say one thing about how this works for us. I have my business is in Beirut. I have collaborated with a company in Nigeria, in Africa, and I still run my business, my Beirut business from here, through everything, through Skype, through WhatsApp. I'm using the basic stuff because I can't get my head into the harder stuff. And it's running smoothly. When we print, we actually even sometimes print in Beirut when it's very high-end printing for our brands and clients, and they actually video the printing process and how it's the end product looks like. But what I'm actually going to talk about is investing in the people that come to your company. I do take in a lot of interns, and usually we give them 2 weeks, and then we decide it's going to stay the whole summer with us. And within the years that we've been doing that, I've had 3 interns that have made me really proud. 3 of them came as failures, but they had potential. They had something in them that they were so, they would set out, give them a logo to do, and they do something else. But that something else is really good, but it's not what I asked for. So I kept on their cases for 3 months, and one of them won one of the awards. She's working for a multinational company. She won the awards for Women Abuse Poster last year. So, which is the #1 post advertising campaign that was last year. Second one of them does something in Beirut called Paint Up, where she goes and paints all the old stairs in Beirut, and they become one of the 10 most beautiful stairs in the world. They bring a bunch of people, and she's known for this now. And she believes in making Beirut beautiful, so they do that. And the third one had this TEDx speech 3 days ago. So to us and my company, for us, these are our kids that grew up, and this shows what we're leading for the future. So it's really good for you to, while you're investing in yourself and in your company, these kids that come to you and you invest in them, they will bring it back to you. You will feel proud. It will give you that extra push to do more. Thank you.
Okay. Now, I run an interior design firm and also a publishing firm. We have no schools for interior design. So how do I build capacity? How do I have the right people? And I've suffered through this. I mean, I've brought in people, they've left, and it's been really, really stressful. Now, because I also I'm president of the Interior Designers Association of Nigeria. So what I decided to do is I'm going to talk to them. They need to help me. We need to have a school of design or something. I'm thinking about the future. I'm not thinking about today, because everyone, you run businesses, we're not running businesses for today. I mean, we look at people that we've heard, oh, so and so 20 years ago, and the businesses are dead. I don't want to invest my time and business. I want to be like Antonika and just sell and sell. And there's a friend of mine, he is in Hong Kong, he's an interior designer. He runs a firm with 400 designers. He did the Strand in London, you know the Strand. He did Shangri-La. He worked on the line, sold 50% of them. And I said to him, do it. And people's systems, process. He said the business runs without me. I don't have to be there. Listen, I'm just a superstar. That's what he said to me. Right now, the people I sold the business to have said to me, you can't really leave you. We still need your face anywhere we go. So now he's almost like a celebrity. He's not really doing the work anymore. And, yes, and, we look now and I'm thinking about Nigeria, I'm thinking about publishing, a lot of people that do publishing. So when I went into it, I just thought, oh, nice, do magazine. And I know a number of people that want to come out of it because even in, so I run an interior design magazine. I run the implant magazine for air contractors, and we're about to start one on women in business. Now, the implant magazine for air, you already have your circulation, just print 40,000 and give it to the then you have the interior design one, and you think, they need me. We don't have time for you. And I'm doing a million and one things. You know what? I'm dying. I need help. And I went to Phillips Consulting. I spoke to Felicia Phillips and I said, please, Uncle, can you help me? And he gave me a bill and ran away. I said, it's a nice idea, but I have a friend that does this. By the way, and I said to him, I'll give you free advertising from 2016, please. I mean, we'll just do a barter because I don't have that kind of money. But you need that structure.
Sorry to interrupt you. One of our guests is here also, Mrs. Architect Mrs. Adenowo. Put your hands together for her to join us.
Okay, all right. So, like I was saying, so for us, we need to have that structure. We need to have the right kind of people. Sometimes it's not just building the right kind of people. Sometimes it's employing the right kind of people. So for us, interior design, we are trying. This is Adenowo. So she's been helping us with, yes, she's an architect. And for our design awards, we do the competition for students. We do for top architects, top designers, and sometimes you look at the quality of work, it's nice, but you're thinking, we need more, we need more, we need more. And for the owners of the businesses, I can tell you it's hell because they don't have support. So even the top architectural firms, I can tell you, they struggle. Publishing, I can tell you, even when you finish printing the magazine, you give it to the people on the streets, and they do not give you back your money. We'll deal with you. And so you just give them the magazine and never get your money back. But putting systems in place, putting the structures in place is important, not just for today. So for us, we're just talking, especially for me, I'm looking at interior design, I'm thinking about the future, I'm thinking about the next 10 years. And by the way, we got Unilag, so we're starting interior design, we're starting the course next year. So we started the journey and we can now get the right kind of people to come. We can train them, they can come in for internships. I did the work experience and I learned a lot. I learned more from my work experience for interior design than, in school. And that's so important, so you're running a business or you're starting a business, you need to get the right kind of people if you have like an industry that you can. If not, employ the right kind of people or build them up and put the right processes in place. You don't have to use Phillips Consulting. There are lots of other companies that you can use to help you with your processes and your structure. All right, thank you.
Okay.
I'm not going to say it's the last word because I don't know if Jumoke wants to say anything on it. All right. In that case, I will say the last word on it. Titi, by the way, has done some amazing coffee table books on buildings and structures and buildings designed by people like Jumoke. I collect books. I'm an avid collector of books. And there's an interior designer called Andrew Martin. And he's one of my favorites. And Jumoke's book can sit, Titi's book can sit beside this man's book. She's benchmarked herself against international standards. I thought I needed to say that. I've not actually ever met her. I think I'm meeting her for the first time, but I've been collecting these books since. You know? So, but systems, processes, and people. The systems and the processes will not do anything without the people. They are driven by the people. So it is the people that you have to start with and make sure that you do have the right people. So please don't think that once you have the systems and processes, you're good to go. When you build the people, they will drive the systems and processes, build the business. So it's the people that actually build the business. It's not the systems and the processes. The business is a living thing with a soul and a heart, like she says. It's a brand. It has a personality, and you must have the personality.
All right. I'd like to officially hand over to person who came to my life, and I'm really interested in I never thought about it too much, but she is the founder of Awesome Traders Foundation, the foundation that I belong to. Hello. Just putting it in there. So please enjoy. Well, thank you very much. I'm so sorry I'm late. If I give you my story, it sounds like a Nigerian story. But I've never been late to any function in my life before, so this is the first time. But I did come in from Marrakesh this morning. But that is not the reason why I'm late. It's really, later I'll tell you the gist. You're very privileged to be sitting before these women. And I think what we should do is pick their brains before they leave. In 2002, I was privileged to hear, I call her Auntie Nikki, allow me to, I'm an African woman, Mrs. Ogulesi. Sometimes she doesn't look like an auntie at all. One day we met in Heathrow and she wore this boots. I thought this can come to Nigeria, you know. So, and she was talking about, that means there's a case study on her in LBS, if you get what I'm saying, in Lagos Business School. And we were studying rock and tumble. At that time, I still remember the case. The turnover was a nice 40 million at that time. I know now we're talking about not those kind of figures. It was 2002, and I was doing the Chief Executives Program. So I want us to make sure we write down the right questions and don't get carried away by any cliches. You understand? Because you may never get them like this again. Are we agreed? Yes. Am I making sense? Because when we talk about people and processes, I'm taking back. Titi is smiling. She's actually smirking because she knows. I know a lot of the stories behind the stories of other people. Where do you get like people? You know, that was the question I asked you that day, because I never forget. How do you use Nigerian tailors and they actually stay? There's somebody saying, why didn't you say before I came, you, isn't it? So, how do you use Nigerian tailors? I still remember her answer to that. I don't fraternize with them, is what she said. She didn't put it that way, but I'm not the kind of madam that sits down, walk like to get around body happen. And we all use, you don't get it, the people. In this, do we take only people from here? That's a good question. Maybe you've been hiring. Have you found out that the highest there are the best ever in the world? Is that what you find? What? You've been hiring, right? You've been trying to get people for your business. I take it a few of us are either entrepreneurs or will be entrepreneurs. So you've been doing interviews and been hiring people, how have you found your staff? Is it very, very easy to get intelligent, committed, driven, focused people who do not want to earn that much because they really care more about the work you see than the pay? So you tell us the experience. So I'll tell you my experience from working in a very big organization. Also my experience the things and so I was on a former staff came up to me and they said, wow, Mrs. Alabi, the minute we saw you and the minute you started talking, we knew you hadn't changed. You're still, very, they call me Iron Lady. But what I found, and I've always been a big believer in Nigeria, which is why it was so important for me to move back and also to work in Nigeria. And I always believed in Nigerian talent because when I was in school, most of the smartest people that I was in school with were Nigerians. And I had a tutor for a couple of classes, they were Nigerians. And so I always believed in Nigerians and always believed that we were smart, we were hardworking, because that's the values I had and the values I grew up with, and the people I knew that was their values. And so whenever people tell me that, I like that. Wait, go ahead. Nigerian people don't like to work hard, and Nigerian people don't like to work. I don't believe it, and I don't agree with it. And I had a conversation with my PA a couple of times. She said, "Madam, every time people call me, they want to recruit me to come and work for them." I said, "Well, why don't you go?" She was like, "Madam, they're not serious people." Wow. So what happens is, if you're approaching people to come and work for you, number one, they have to believe that they can learn from you, they can grow, and that they are really going to be valuable, that they're going to add value to what you're trying to do, that they're going to be valued as well, and they're going to be validated. Every day that people wake up, we want to feel good and useful. And if you can give people work that makes them feel good and useful about themselves, they're going to continue to work. And I always tell people that there is no Nigerian standard. There's only one standard, and that is the best. That is the best. That is so. And so every time you challenge people to deliver the best, you are going to be surprised by what they do. I've just hired someone new, and she actually came from our Agreement for Greatness, which is my the leadership and mentorship program I launched. After the sessions, I said, "Oh, good people always know good people, and so I'm looking for a couple of people. Here's some job descriptions. Please share it amongst your network." So she came up to me afterwards and says, "Well, I want to be one of these people." I said, "We're mentoring you. Let's see." She was like, No. She was like, "I've spent 3 days with you here. I want to continue to learn, and I want to continue to work with you." So one of the things I always feel is you have to be able to give some of yourself to people if you want them to give all of themselves to you. You have to be willing to mentor. You have to be willing for people to grow. And when people come up to you to say they're leaving, you have to celebrate that. You have to find the discipline to celebrate and wish them well. Sometimes I'm in my office like, "No, please don't let this be true. Don't let this be true." But the minute I open the door and the person comes, because they sent the email, you know what's coming next. That conversation, they say, "I want to see you." That means I really want to see you. Okay. And then sometimes I read on him, and so I stall. I'm like, "Oh, I have conference calls all day today." I'm just sitting there going, "No, don't let this be happening. Don't let this be happening." And when they finally, I have to get myself ready for it. And when they come in, I say, "Wow, what are you going to be doing now?" And I say, "Congratulations." And I say, "My doors are always open. I know it's a new role," because a lot of times they're being promoted, and that means that you've done something that you're going to learn a lot. And I always say to people, this is my advice. There was someone that I was recruiting. I'll tell this and then pass on. There was someone I was recruiting for a client of mine, and he's someone I had worked with before. He's one of the top talent in what he does. And so while we were in negotiations, he then was offered a promotion at his current role. And so he called me to say, "What do I think?" And I said, "Do you want my advice as someone that is in the process of making you an offer, or do you want my advice as a mentor and friend?" And he said, "Of course." as a mentor and friend. And I said, what they've just asked you to do is probably going to be the biggest and best job you ever take. And what that meant was that I didn't get to do that job for my client and bring this person in. But now, next time I call him for another opportunity, he's going to be very willing to look at it because he knows I'm more invested. I'm invested in him being successful, in him being useful, in his future. And I think that's what people have to do. People can't see that you're only interested in what they can do for you. They have to see that you're ready and committed to invest in that.
Okay. Thank you. I have a feeling that I was asked to be moderator because I'm probably the most draconian moderator they could get, so that everybody can benefit from. Yes. So I'm going to be monitoring it for time because I hear it's finished for 12. So says the lady who walked in late. You know, but I know you're forgiving me because I don't do it at all. So she said, first, we have to make sure we validate people, so we motivate them, which means we want to make the vision so clear so that they have a cause to believe in. We have to make sure that it's clear that we believe in them, right? And then it must be clear that they're valuable. And when they're leaving, celebrate them. I could also have an exit interview if you think you're going to have some truth told to you. I'd like, what would you like to say about what has your experience been? Do you get labor from the Nigerian market?
I'm in the Nigerian market.
Yes, I like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I was born and bred here. I got married, left, and came back here. You know, there's something about Nigeria. When you leave, you want to come back. And when you come back, you feel at home. You know, and everywhere else in the world, everywhere, in London, anywhere, any country in the world, you are not at home. You just don't have it. So anyway, cutting a long story short, I moved back here, and out of coincidence, my friend who was Yemi moved back from Beirut here. So she's joined our group. And we've been, you know, trying to employ people to come and work with us. We've been looking for the right guys. And I learned something very important. First of all, you have a lot of talent. They don't have the skills. I need to invest a lot of my time to teach them. But I could see just how much they're boiling underneath themselves with creativity. Because in my case, I need creative people. And I need people who can snap like this and they can do something really crazy for me. And I've met photographers, I've met artists, and the more I meet people, the more I'm still in the moving process because I have a teenage daughter that I have to fix so I can stay here for good. And the more I feel like if we could just sit and just invest in these people, we would have the most talented people in the world coming out of here. Some people are self-educated in our field, and they
so she's saying much the same thing, but she's saying we have to invest in them. There's talent, but not skill. So there's the raw creativity, but you actually need to invest. Sorry, Antonika, allow me, Mrs. Okolesi, let me be formal. Have you found out that then you've invested in people and then they walk away? I'm saying this because I think we've met at one CEO forum again, and where we were all it's just a CEO forum. But everybody seemed to say the same thing, which is they've broken my heart. Which means you invested so much and then you thought this was going to be your successor. It was very nice because I noticed that people who are better than me have been hot worse than I have. So well, you know, so it was very encouraging. Have you found that you've invested? Because I don't want you to think it's a silver bullet. You invest and then they stay with you forever. And then women have this problem. I'm glad this is a women entrepreneurship thing. We seem to get emotionally attached to our employees. Doesn't happen. What's your experience? Have you ever invested in sending a coffee or coffee that really get okay? There've been many. Oh, just want you to feel okay. I've had my head cutter bring all my cutting tools and put them on the table, and on the 1st of December, say, Madam, meaning, Madam, I'm not working anymore. On the 1st of December, the line. Oh well, no. But you know, we have to come to terms with these things because they will happen. And I think one of the greatest lessons I learned was actually from my husband, who said, "What would you do if that person had died?" And therein was the paradigm shift. Nobody must be indispensable.
Yes. Truly, nobody must be indispensable. If you're building a business beyond today, nobody must be indispensable. But I would say you must be clear on you, your leadership style. What are you promising? Are you delivering? Is payday? Or are you going to say he didn't greet you properly on the stairs, so therefore you're not paying him, you pay everybody else? You know, these are petty things that we sometimes do. People won't stay in that kind of environment. They will leave. You have to create a constant learning environment because people need to feel that there's value being added onto them. Tailors and your masons, they have a skill, or they think they have a super skill until they get to you and you teach them all over again. Our tailors are on a pension fund, the same one that I am on, IBTC. Our tailors are on medical, the same one that I am on. I'm just lucky that my older brother is also a medical doctor as well. So what messages are you as the leader of the business sending out as to the value that you place on the people that have cast their lot with you? You can't separate them. You've got to treat people the right way. I'm famous for my temper because I'm one of those people that I can see it, I've done it, and you are still standing there looking at it. I had to learn that not everybody is like me. We took a test, a team building test in my office, and I scored 0. That was my wake-up call. That if I'm to scale this business, I must improve my people skills. Because it's the people that will build the business. I can't do it again.
I think that's very, very honest, right? And which is what I believe these things are for. You've gone for too many seminars where people are just, and you've read too many business books. But we need to know how it works in Nigeria. First, she's made it clear it must be a standard environment, structured. So because people are afraid of working with a one-man business, so they don't go for your child's naming ceremony, then it becomes a problem. You know, that kind of thing. So it must be structured. It must be a constant learning environment. You can tell that there's some teaching in my background because I'm giving you the points again. Constant learning environment, and you must have people skills. Now that is where a lot of women miss it because we bring our emotions into our working environment. So as talented as we are, the working environment is always so rocky. So what do you do with your emotions? When we talk about vision and strategy,
okay, I beg you, please. We do something in my office called emotional intelligence training.
yes,
And this is where I have received personal text messages from people saying thank you because they saw what was in it for them. It benefited them on a very, very personal level. And we all had to get up and say what we promised to do better. And everybody was waiting for me to see what I was going to do and what I was going to say. And you know what the problem was with me? Madam, you took a shout.
actually that is universal because I could give you, if you not with me,
No,
my EA is here, not with me, but I can give you many women who, when they say, what should you improve, which means it's a woman thing, they tell the CEO, Madam, stop EA.
but you know what I did? I listened. And I stood up and made a commitment to stop shouting. It wasn't about my pride. It couldn't be about my pride. Because I needed to lead by example. And if I was telling them that these were my expectations from them, I needed to give them something that showed that I listened, I heard, and I acted. Thank you.
Fantastic. So as we come to these, I promised you, I told you, not ordinary, come to this dose of humility. I quickly learned, before I was told that I shall, I learned from somebody else who was also told
that she shouts. So I'm not here alone. Every time when I'm saying, I'm not shouting now, I'm sitting very calm. My godfather, you have to know when you are talking quietly, you're in danger. Visioning and strategy for success. How did you? I can tell you a story from Betty O to this and that. It's case study, But how do you, in a few words, I'd like us to say how we envisioned, and how the vision affected the strategy, because vision and strategy cannot be divorced. So maybe the other ones go first. Okay, very briefly, let's tell us. This was my vision, and therefore this is the strategy. So we see how vision leads with strategy.
From a very young age, I'd always been interested in storytelling and the power of story, and how by helping people understand where you're coming from, you can do that using pictures. I mean, pictures have always been, when I read a lot, but I see sort of the world in pictures. And so looking at that, I always look at how can I do what I'm doing in pictures. So is it through storytelling? Is it through audiovisual? How can I do that? And that's how I developed my strategy around my personal business when I started my personal business. I knew that I had a lot of experience and a lot of skills that a lot of people in this market didn't have. So across Africa, I wanted to build an advisory company, and that's what we do now. So we advise companies, we advise telcos, we advise governments, we have a satellite company we're working with on basically how to develop paid video entertainment businesses, in short. And then on the other side, really because I knew that I wouldn't be able to go to sleep unless I was telling stories. I knew that there were tons of people telling stories. I mean, everyone with a camera is producing something today in Nigeria, but I knew that there were different stories, and there were stories that I could tell from a different perspective. And so one of the first productions we embarked on is actually around celebrating Nigerian street food. I'm so sorry, it's not short. Celebrating Nigerian celebrating Nigerian street food. And so it's really important to sort of understand where your strengths are and build your strategy around that. And I always tell people, but everyone is doing this. Not everyone can do things the way you do. Not everyone can tell stories the way you tell stories. It's really important to understand that you have been placed here. You have a purpose. And in fulfilling your purpose, you're going to find your uniqueness. And that's really how we built our strategy. So there's a show coming soon. It's called Bukas and Joints. Sorry, I have to do a plug.
So this is really your vision and the strategy that drives that vision. My vision was to prove that great quality could come out of Nigeria. I was tired of people putting down Nigeria. I'm still tired of it. And I always get very angry. Sorry, it's not going to be 1 minute, but I'll make it as short as I can. No, I didn't say 1 minute. Okay, good. When you have 4 adults that are Nigerians sitting together, that are in conversation for more than half an hour, they're going to put Nigeria down. This is a mindset that is very dangerous. When we fail to see what is good about us as a people and as a nation, it is a serious problem. We need to change the language with which we describe the things that are happening in the country that gives us the rights to and who we choose to be. We have to be thankful for the opportunities that Nigeria gives us. Nigeria is the next big thing. Every conference I go, there's plane loads of foreigners coming to Nigeria. What are they seeing that we cannot see? We are blinded by constantly complaining about things that we should just start working on and changing. But it's easier to complain, but we have to stop that. So my drive was to prove that it was possible to make a garment that you could turn inside out. And you wouldn't wear the outside of it. So quality is a thread that runs through the entire organization. It starts from the gates when you enter our compound, the way they greet you, the way they attend to you. It starts from who you meet at the reception, the way she speaks to you, the way she greets you.
who you came to see in the office. They can't keep you waiting. It's not acceptable behavior. Quality, when you enter our stores all have the same smell. Every rough and tumble store has a brand smell, which is ginger lily, which is fantastic because when you take the clothes home, they're going to smell nice. The same way away clothes smell nice when you open your suitcase. Yes? So quality runs through our entire organization. The layout, the fittings, the meet and greet, the way they pack your clothes. If you don't find it like that, please, I will give you my email address. Send me an email. I need the feedback because the quality for us is number one. So it's the quality of the people, quality of the product, quality of service, quality of everything.
Good. So that explains it, why we have Proudly Nigerian on all rough and tumble products, because the vision was to make sure that you could see that you get quality out of Nigeria. And she says, your vision must also go into your organizational culture. So you cannot say something that does not transcend into what you do on a daily basis. We're going to be taking some questions now. I'm going to be taking some questions now, so you could write, you can tell us your vision. If you don't say about so the vision, which we give this is multi-talented.
Let's discuss publishing.
And I think this is more of a publisher.
Yes. No. Okay. Okay. So publishing. I think the question is, I try to train people, for people that don't know how to. I'll sit down with them for hours.
Going back to the question on investing in skill.
Yes. Yeah, just 1 second. And after a while, you invest in them, little things, just little details. By the way, I have to say something. The first book I published was on fashion, celebrating Fashion Day, and I did it for IWS. We're trying to raise funds for Fashion in February. Book. Then I went to study a course in editorial design in LC College and the book because I was proud to say I'm just trying to learn how not to design. So they showed me like maybe like 80 errors, and they said just keep the book. When I was leaving, I stole the book because I just thought I heard people joking. Keep the book so they'll show everybody what I've done. But I learned a lot, and I found that a lot of people don't want to learn. So I just take it, even with staff. So I have staff, and sometimes you just say, listen, this is wrong, and they just get very upset, and they don't do it. So when you call them the next time, no. But I have a good team now. They're not here. And high as used to be normal because what we've done is I've shown them the vision. I've said to them, look, for us, what we want to do is we want to build the Condé Nast of publishing. We want to show that it's possible. So the reason I'm doing I'm doing another magazine in this and that is because I want to show that it's possible. And I want to show that, listen, even the people that design are young. There's a young designer now. She's studying fashion. She treated me actually. I don't know if she's here, but she treated me. I said, oh, I just want to fix it. I said to her, okay, start working on this. And I was shocked when so much she had done. And I said, why did you tell me you do? It was like paper mache. Now, paper mache, what children do. That was what she just, and I said to her, listen, she schooled in New York, and I said to her, you know what, these my young designers are going to show you. And then I have some young boys that own a company, a graphics company, and I said to her, learn from them. And she was willing. What she said was, I'm willing to learn.
I want to show it possible. Don't you do quite a bit of graphic design outside Nigeria? A bit of it.
I stopped.
Okay.
I as recently as this edition.
Because you see, I actually want to learn from you. Sometimes it's you want. You are not yet a leader of community because you are not a set community.
Yes, and money.
Exactly. I don't want to date and make it like let's her tell us something. So now you know I don't look too bad. And it's true. It's true. I attest to it. So, you know, I'm just saying, maybe you have an edition, so I don't know what you do. You need to rush something up and you need to get the quality good. Perhaps you may not go the rough and tumble route. You do it some way before, maybe, you know, maybe you get people from Italy to train the people in Nigeria. I don't know. Yeah, please do. Then we go back to the vision and strategy. Keep it in the design.
I think every time I come, we are going to meet a client, and they would say, sorry, but we do our designs in London. And I look at them and I'm like, I'm sorry, but London usually comes to me. So usually we have designers and firms in London that come to expect Beirut or in Nigeria, the designers to be cheaper, but they're the same price as they are in London or in anywhere else. You know, they want to upmarket their products. And I'm like, why are you going to London? We do this job for them. And we actually have a client that did his logo. It's a huge company in Nigeria. Did this logo with me 10 years ago. And went to Dubai to do the upgrade of the logo. And you know who did the logo for him? My students. That did his logo when they were with me. They want the pitch. And he came to me and goes, I went all the way to Dubai. I paid 10 times more than we paid you. And you know what? It turned out to be your student. That was the first original design in your place. So, but I'm just going to say, no, London here, as long as you have
the important thing is being able to find the right fit for the right time for your business. We've had people coming from the route and we showed our work to them. And they were shocked when they got the magazine called out. And then we saw it all the time. I think in Nigeria, it's knowing where to look, which is why it's important to attend these kind of conferences. You want to hold on to her and hold because you sometimes very good people are there, or you just don't know where to find them or where to look. However, can I add something myself? I was in Harvard Business School speaking once. It was supposed to be an African business conference. And I was the only actual one doing business in Africa. The rest either had African DNA, right? Or I'd been to Africa at some point, or the Africans were doing business. And what was the answer? The reason was that they said, we charge too much, the pay is too high. They just couldn't find the right people to do the work. So whoever was, it will get the talented people, but they want to earn more than the CEO wants to earn. So whether you need to give yourself some hand to be so brave to want to do business in Africa and you're African. I thought your vision and the strategy. She gave us a vision. She gave us a strategy. She likes selling stories. Quality, proudly Nigerian.
Okay. Like I said, my vision for the publishing is to be the Condé Nast. But I also want to train people. A lot of Condé Nast and a lot of magazines actually outsource. Like she said, you go to people per hour, you just find I did Politan, or you know, they just tell you the magazines they've done. By the way, I only did my style guide with a company in the UK. So my guys here are working with the style guide. So I'm just saying, listen, this is the style we want. I want it to be minimal. They give a format. So that's what, and you know, we're training people to be able to learn this because we want to impact people also.
It's called backward integration.
Yeah.
So you get the technology train Nigerians. That's what Japan did. So it's very good. And it's also part of partnerships and collaborations.
Yeah.
So there's nothing wrong in getting the right people to do it, who you think like it, who you can find wherever in the world, and give it to the Nigerians and develop the Nigerians. Well done. So that's the strategy. Questions? We're rounding up in another 10 minutes. And your question. Well done.
Hello, everyone. My name is Adaku Ufere. I'm a lawyer, and I'm a very, very new entrepreneur. I just started a legal advisory and consulting firm called Dax Consult this year. I was previously oil and gas legal counsel for General Electric. Also a lifestyle blogger. I've been running this blog for about 7 years, and I also write for Genevieve magazine, amongst other things. So I have learned a lot being here and listening to all of you who've run businesses for several years. Women entrepreneurship is very important to me because I know it's more difficult to run a business as a woman than a man, obviously. And a lot of things you've been talking about, everything resonates. I know everything's important, but for me, being a very, very new entrepreneur, my biggest problem is funding. And the kind of service I offer is not very tangible service. It's not, I mean, I'm not making a dress or making heads. I'm a lawyer, so I'm reviewing contracts and negotiating, and lots of people necessarily don't want to pay for that service. So I listened and I heard, because I came kind of late, so I didn't basically hear all the avenues for funding that were available, and I did hear a bit of it. So I wanted to know if you thought something like equity crowdfunding would work in Nigeria. If it currently works, I'm not exactly sure in angel investors and the individual funding, but something like group funding, does that work here?
Okay, this is for your legal practice. I'm going to just answer the question because I seem to be the consultant for London. And then first, when I started 24, so long ago, in 1994, when I started AD Consulting, it was me and my head, just like you, right? And the beautiful thing about being a consultant is that the skills you have, if you get what I mean. So you need, I always say to people, start from where you are with what you have right now. The reason being, I have this book called I'll Speak to You, 5,000 youth at the time. Then one time, like 10 years ago, I said, I'll give 1 million naira to anybody who has an idea. And with all the complaints the youth had, 1 million naira, nobody could come up with an idea that makes sense. Some said if I had 20 million, you can't do anything with one, but you could start with. Some said with 10. So that's what I would say is that sometimes there's something beautiful called free too. You know, you might have to do some things for free. Yes, but you see, it's a growth curve. People have to understand what you offer, right? Be exposed to it, and then you put your name out there. Crowdfunding, we probably know your dad might, that's a crowd you might get your family to to invest in your law firm. But I would say start from where you are because you've got everything you need. You've got what you know. Next question. Yes, please. You said you're a blogger. How many people are on your blog?
Currently I have, well, I passed out
4-5 million. So views, okay. Because you can start advertising. And that's cash flow. Kindekeji has apparently built a 600 million naira house in Banana Island from blogging. So you might want to rethink. I know, but you see, you're looking for funding for your legal business. You've got a skill that is dependent on nobody but yourself, as Jumoke says. Blog. Try that.
I'm just gonna tell you how I started. My family has money, but it's their money. And I had just gotten divorced, and my dad already repaid for my third degree. So he's like, that's it, I'm done with you. Just go on with your life. I started designing from my bedroom. That was the only furniture I had in the house was my bedroom. My clients would come and I would tell them, come for a picnic, because there's no furniture in the house. So we'd all sit in a circle, we'll have a picnic in the middle, and the work is done there. And you will find the way when you want to get there.
I cannot overemphasize that, being that I don't want to sound like an old auntie, but that really is it. You need to learn to start from where you are. I
How many men are in the room? I want to tease men in the room. It's men who start a business, right? And they go borrow money. It's only them. You see a dark legal company, like 5 cars, branded. They haven't made one cover. I like that Igbo model. You cannot drink this. They call it mineral, not Fanta. Or how many have you sold today? When you sold enough, then you can go and eat. Have you noticed? You don't eat unless Emeka has not sold something in the shop today. He can't eat. So I like women because they keep it real. They understand the bottom line. Your ego is not all wrapped up. You understand what I'm saying? So you wear a big suit and there's no money, you don't make cover. You know what I'm saying? I had 10 people. Sorry.
All right, because we're having a masterclass by 2, we have to make this snappy.
That's my former private speaker.
Go directly to your questions. Who's doing next one?
I have permission to make sure you ask a question and you don't contribute.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Thank you.
And everybody on the board. I particularly came today to meet with you, Ma, Mrs. Adino, and to meet with Mrs. Titi. I am an interior designer. I don't want to brand myself as an interior designer yet because I know that I'm not even I'm just scratching. I've not even scratched the surface. I left school. I'm sorry. I left school 2012. Before I left school, I just started doing this thing. I needed to make ends meet. I would go to Yaba, get tailors to do bed sheets for me, and I sell to people. Now I trained that my first degree is electrical electronics engineering. So I'm an engineer. My parents didn't like the fact that I just finished with the 2-1 and decided I wanted to do, go into business and, so my point is I've reached a point in my life where I know that I want to go into this thing full time. I had to make that decision this year. It's been from one job interview to the other. My question is that I want to get trained, okay, which is why I came to meet with both of you. I want to get trained and I want to be trained under you, mentored.
Okay, that's not a question. So you can
It's a request. Please, you have the mic, you have the power. But so you say what you want to say. So maybe we'll get to that. Interestingly, I don't know if it happens to you, but I get a lot of requests about interior design training in Nigeria. So you and I started in school when we leave. You know how you do. Okay. So next question. We will address that. But it's not a question the answer would benefit the entire audience, which is why it's a private one.
Okay, Kemi, someone else was saying that we wrap this up, that we can talk later because of the masterclass we're having. So if you don't get to ask questions, you can't get angry with seminar. It's not possible. I'm under instruction. But you can meet them after. So we can just take one. After this one, Tori, please. After this one, then.
And it's a question.
Yes, question.
Yes, it's a question. Good morning, lady. Good morning. I just want to know, when do you know when to pay yourself in the business you're doing? Originally, I had a service industry, and now I have a product. So when do you know when to pay yourself?
Let's start with the other.
So just actually gonna comment on both of the questions. Okay. You should always pay yourself. It doesn't actually matter. You always pay yourself. Doesn't matter how little. You always pay yourself. That's just how we've built. That's how we've developed the business plan. And in the business plan, it's there that we pay ourselves. Sometimes we don't pay. We don't. The money isn't there, but it is in the business plan that we pay ourselves. So the company actually owes us money.
I like that. Because you said pay yourself. You might think, are you there? Are you listening to the answer to your question? You might think, oh, woe is me. I'm a failure. She always pays herself. The last sentence is very critical for the early years. Sometimes the company actually owes you money, but you pay yourself. You also need to make sure you always pay yourself because there's an institution called the FIRS. And if you are there, I hope you're hearing me. I'm coming for your job. The FIRS will actually still tax you on anything they think is profit. So set yourself a good, realistic salary and pay yourself. So even if the company owes you, when you have the income, you can take it out without anybody calling it director's drawings. So pay yourself what you're worth. Okay. Any other contrary opinion? Yes.
If you don't do that, when you're going to, as you grow and you have to hire the skill, it becomes very difficult to place a value on the skill because the market value and the value you place on yourself may not be the same. A lot of us as entrepreneurs do make that mistake. We give a lot more than we get paid in the business.
I was gonna say something final on this. A lot of time you pay yourself, and then you end up putting it back in, and then you end up having no money at all.
And then also, when they do your business plan for you, make sure you also have your sweat equity quantified in there. So if you value yourself at a certain amount and you can only pay yourself 50% of that, the other 50% is equity that you're putting into the company.
Okay, so it's very clear. Pay yourself even if the company has to owe you, and then you need to put the money back as sweat equity. I think we're losing ourselves. So thank you very much for being such a good audience. Give yourself a hand. And those who are taking phone calls, do not clap for yourself.
Brunch is served. So I think we do that in a really manner. Tourism there doesn't have to do that. Brunch is served. Please, you have to eat this thing as you say. You use money to buy. It's not to eat something. So please make sure you have something to take. Okay, there's going to. Oh, all right. Okay, you guys, please look here. Now I don't know how long you have known Tori. Hello. Okay. It's okay. I have to put Tori. I have to put Tori in it. Now Tori wasn't like this. I don't know how long you've known Tori. So I told her, like, Tori, what did you do? And I showed her that there were some mighty guys that did something with her, who be excited and all of that. So it's just talking to all the briefly on, you know, what to do. And I think some girls, 2 free classes for the first 10 women that signed up. So, the next time, so please, you need to do whatever you need to do. So because you don't do it, for brunch is served, people just
Hello. Hi, my name is Entrepreneurship. I'm the sponsor to Women Entrepreneurship Day. I'm just going to put you through some basic workouts if you get. It's quite quick, easy, and effective. So basically, I just want you, like, if you're wearing heels. Hello, hi there. My name is Ola Omishore, and I'm a fitness instructor. I run a fitness program. Basically, I'm a fitness sponsor for the Women Entrepreneurship Day. As effective and important as it is, health is wealth, you have to take care of yourself. So I'm just going to put you through some fitness workout, which is quite easy, effective, and so if you're wearing heels, I'd like for you to like raise your calves. So it's like a cow raises. So you're just going to raise up your legs.
Sorry, please, it's important to listen to what he has to say. We still have 2 keynote speakers, so please just, I'm just told that because I was hungry. That's why I said brunch. So brunch is still coming up, but we still have 2 people to listen to, so please.
So basically what I want to see, your feet is flat on the floor, and you're going to raise up, make sure your toe stays on the floor, or you raise up your leg, like your feet, or your toe stays on the floor.
What you are saying is connecting.
So you raise up your legs. Sorry. Where your feet stays on the floor. Or you can stand up from your seat and sit down, but don't actually sit down, then you get up. So just like squats, which works on your thighs. You want to try it? Any volunteers? Yeah, so you sit down, or you don't actually sit, you get up. Yeah, so you can do that a couple times, and that's really effective for your thighs.
Okay, Ola, I don't think Ola is breaking this thing. Ola is too choose on this matter. I think Ola is going to come up again. Okay, to talk about this, but I don't want us to beat this point. Can we please? Yes, we're going to do it again, but it's important that we finish what we're doing. So we're going to do it again much later, but not now. All right, please, please, please. I don't want us to be distracted. We're not done yet. Please, we are not done yet. Please, we are not done yet. It's very important that people are supposed to speak and listen to. So please, please. All right. Can we please have one now? Please, please, let's not be distracted. We came here for a reason. Let's just finish and then move. I think I made a mistake by saying very friendly. So what the time for that is. All right, we're going to be listening to Abiodun. She's the lead consultant of who?
It's my fault. It's my fault. I'm sorry, guys.
All right, go and see me more. Justina Sihag. Now, this is about speaking in tongues. Let me try. Justina Sihag. She's the managing director, sales trainer, Delivery Consulting Limited, and she's going to be speaking to us about the art of selling for entrepreneurs, driving value in networking and relationship building. Please put your hands together for her.
Thank you very much, ladies. I know everybody is hungry, so I promise I'm going to stick to 15 minutes, okay? But the skills I want to talk to you about, if you pay attention, they can change your life.
I'm sorry, excuse me, ladies. There's somebody speaking. I'm sorry. Just if you get food, just talking about yourself or try to get a bit quietly. There's somebody speaking. It's rude.
Like whoever wants to pay attention, you are welcome. If you don't, you're losing a lot because you may have a great vision, you may have a great mission, you may have structures, you may have processes, and you may employ brilliant people. If you don't know how to sell, you won't be able to reach anything. So better listen, right? Let me just put the right. I'll ask you to change slide. Go to the slide number 4. All right? So I promised 15 minutes of your attention. I'm going to talk about 10 secrets of sales. This training usually takes 6 days. All right? So I'm trying to condense it in 15 minutes for you. So you can get the most important part of the training that we usually do. Could you please click? So, secret number 1, listen actively. Listening skills are the most important communication skills for salespeople. You may know how to pitch, you may look beautiful, you can have a great product. If you don't listen to your customers, you will get nowhere. So ladies and gentlemen, listening is giving the other person the experience of being heard. If you look at your best friends, are these people listening to you? Right, yeah? You call them at 3 a.m., they will always pick up the phone and you can talk and talk and talk and they will always listen to you. So let's create this atmosphere of appreciation and intimacy in the meetings with our clients. Listen to them. Let them first listen, talk last. Next slide, please. And one more. Before you speak, ask. You come into the meeting, you're all pumped up. Oh, my product is so great. I'm going to get this investment. Before you start talking about yourself, ask questions. Who are you dealing with? Lady who is doing the lawyer's practice. Before you start talking about yourself, ask the clients, what was your previous experience with lawyers in Nigeria? What did you like about it? What did you dislike about it? What is your biggest challenge that you are facing with legal services in Nigeria? Oh, that's interesting, sir. Could you tell me what will happen if you don't overcome these challenges? Right? You ask them questions. You have to have ammunition for your pitch. You cannot just come and talk because you don't know what you're going to talk about. You don't know what are the most important factors for the person you're meeting. So before you open your mouth in the meeting, ask questions. And Nigerian people are not always used to salespeople who ask questions. They're usually used to people who come and talk, right? So I recommend that in the beginning of the meeting you say, Madam, sir, we are meeting today to find out if there are any synergies between our companies. And for me to understand what are truly your needs, I will need to ask you a few questions. Are you okay with that? Yeah? So you ask for permission to ask questions because sometimes people will be like, oh, what, this is an interview, right? Okay, next slide, please. Albert Einstein said, if I had an hour to solve a problem and my life depended on it, I would use the first 55 minutes determining the proper questions to ask. This is the power of questions. And guys, even if you don't listen to anything else I'm going to say today, just by asking questions, you're gonna get further than you were so far, okay? So remember, next slide, please. Secret number 3 is Accept that people hate being sold. People hate salespeople. Yeah? How do you feel when they call you? Hello, madam, I'm calling you from Episalat. I would like to go. Like, no, no. Right? You never have time for this, right? People hate salespeople. What we love to do, we love to buy. We hate being sold to. So accept it and spend first 40% of the meeting on building trust and credibility. And how do we build trust and credibility? By asking what? Questions, right? Okay, next slide, please. Secret number 4, be friend, advisor, and teacher. Be friend. Who do we buy from? First of all, people who we like, right? Second of all, people who remind us of ourselves. Because as much as we want to deny, the people we love the most in our life is us, right? So we buy from people who we like, we buy from people who remind us of ourselves, and then we buy from the people we respect. Ladies, gentlemen, have you ever bought a sophisticated product from a person you did not respect? Impossible. So if you detect the situation that the person you're talking to is not respecting you, don't bother. This is not a prospect for you. They will never buy from you if you don't build trust, credibility, and if you don't make them respect you the way you deserve to be respected. Then the advisor, Viola Alabi, said that she advised one of her mentees to do something against her own business, but something good for him, right? You want to position yourself with your clients as an expert, as a consultant. So even if they receive other offer from the market, but from your field, they would pick up the phone and call you first to ask, listen, Justina, they want to do the sales training. What do you think? Is it a good company, right? You want to be an expert, a consultant, but you have to earn it. It doesn't come for free. Then a teacher. Ladies and gentlemen, we're training bankers. A lot of my participants of my trainings are bankers. And people in Nigeria and all over the world have very rudimentary level of knowledge about banking. So let's say my trainees, they would like to sell them mobile money, mobile application that you download on your phone in order to use your bank, right? If a person doesn't have a smartphone or is afraid of technology, how are you gonna do it? You have to educate people about the things they don't know, right? So sometimes it's not, yes, in Nigeria, nobody will tell you, oh, I don't understand what you say. Because they won't admit to you that they are stupid, right? They won't say it. They will never tell you that they don't understand. So make sure you use the language and clarity when you present your offerings so the clients don't have these doubts if I really understand what you mean. Because you may lose a lot of sales just because people are too ashamed to tell you that they don't know what you're talking about. Next slide, please. Secret number 5, 4 P's of selling. Preparation, practice, presence, and passion. We've been talking a lot about passion. I left it as the last one. Let's look at preparation. My first sales trainer, I am a salesperson with over 10 years of experience. I've been to many, many trainings. And my first sales trainer was always saying, fail to prepare, prepare to fail. And that is what is going to happen. Ladies and gentlemen, you know so much about your clients because surprisingly people nowadays really don't care about their privacy. You Google the name, you get a lot of information. You can prepare for the meeting. So don't leave the meeting feeling, don't even put you in the situation that you will leave a meeting saying, oh damn, I could have known that. Why I didn't know that this guy is part of Ecoi Club and he's crazy about gold. It would be just putting his name in Google, it would come up. So prepare. If you find a common ground with a person, you're building the bond. But you need to know what this bond will be about. So prepare. Then practice. Ladies and gentlemen, overcoming objections and closing the door is not an easy task. There is nothing about tricking, it's not about schmoozing the client, it's about practice, 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 practice. So you will start by making mistakes. You will start by situations in which certain techniques won't work, but you have to keep on trying because if not, you will never get there. So practice. Same with your, go back. Same with your presentations. if you have a presentation of your product, if you wake up at 2 a.m. in the middle of the night, you have to be able to say it without wondering what is the next sentence. Because during the meeting, you have to focus on the reactions of your client, read his body language, and prepare your pitch, but don't think what will be the next sentence you're gonna say. You cannot waste time on that. The meeting is for something else, so practice before. Then presence. Well, we like it or not, people judge us based on the way we walk, the way we talk, and the way we look. So ladies, and especially lenders, when you enter the meeting, enter in a way that you own the room. Don't enter like this, hello sir, I'm having 5 p.m. meeting, would you have 5 minutes? No, you don't enter like this. You enter the meeting, hello sir, my name is Justina, I work for Degree Consulting, right? Show the confidence with the way you carry yourself, because it's not only affecting what other people think of you, it also affects the way you feel about yourself. It's very important. So walk confidently, talk in a beautiful way. And the only way for you to understand how you sound when you're presenting is to record yourself. And then you will discover that you do, and then you will discover that you say actually in every sentence. And you will see that there are many things that you're not even aware. So do that. And then passion. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if you're aware of that, but CSI and NES trainers in the United States, they are able to look for a mirror glass on a conversation between the person who is being arrested, the suspect, and the policeman, and just basing on body language, they can tell you if the person is guilty or not. Why? Because when we lie, our body is giving us away. Luckily, not everybody is a CIS trainer, right? But if you don't believe in what you're selling, if you are not passionate and absolutely dedicated to your cause, your body language will give you away. And the client won't buy, they won't know why, but they will have this feeling that there is something wrong there. And passion is contagious. You will infect people with passion and they will want to work with you. Next slide, please. Secret number 6, if you can go back. Chase the right prospect. How many times in your life you spend 3 months, 6 months chasing people who at the end of the day tell you like, you know what, it's actually chairman who is making this decision, right? So from the beginning, make sure you are dealing with the right people. Who are the right people for us? First of all, people who have resources or access to funding to buy what we're selling, right? Money has to be there. Second of all, decision-making power. The person has to be a decision maker. If that person is not a decision maker, you change the objective of your meeting. Then the objective of your meeting will be to get this guy to get you the meeting with the decision maker, right? The third part is mutual respect. Because if there is no mutual respect, there is no potential working relationship. So that's extremely important. And the fourth, but not least important, so don't get me wrong, the person has to have a need that your product can satisfy, a problem that your product can solve, or a goal that your product can help that person to achieve. When you have this 4, you have a perfect prospect. And the most important of it all is this mutual respect and potential working relationship. Because as I told you, people buy from people who they like, who remind them of themselves, and who they respect, and nobody else. Okay, please, next slide. Thank you. In order to build your network, give before you receive. Okay? Everybody wants to have a beautiful network, and in Nigeria we know that having the right contacts may be 80% of the success many times, right? But guys, it's not like I just told you that and tomorrow we will go to the street and you're gonna build your network. Just forget about it. It takes at least 2 years to build a network that will fuel itself, right? It's not a short process. So don't start going around and ask people for favors when you need it now, but think about it before. Where I want to be at the end of the year, when I want to be 5 years from now, and build your network based on that. And ladies and gentlemen, networking, the currency of real networking is generosity, not greed. So you cannot go to people as the first thing and ask them what they can do for you. You have to tell them what you can do for them. And sometimes you have to consider doing many things for free before you are proven and before people start trusting you. And then it will just fuel itself and it will go and go and go, and your network will grow, and then everybody in Nigeria will be just 3 phone calls away. Wouldn't it be beautiful, right? So remember, generosity. Networking is about making other people more successful. And there is nothing wrong with making other people more successful. It doesn't take away from your own success. And they will appreciate you. So be kind. Next slide. Secret number 8, we're almost done. When you hear an objection, ask a question. Never brag. Okay? So let's say the client is telling you, no, you're mad. Your product is too expensive. And you say, no, these are very competitive prices. Like, look at the market. This product is a great quality. How does it sound? Defensive, right? If you sound defensive, it means you're defending yourself from something, but you're not, right? So what's the best way of handling an objection like this? So this is too expensive. And you say like, okay, would you mind me telling how do you analyze pricing? Yeah? So when you say it's too expensive, what do you mean? So when you say it's too expensive, compared to what? Or if you know that the person is asking for discounts, you're like, okay, sir, how far apart are we? Yeah? Don't brag. Always ask a question, whatever kind of objection you hear. If they tell you, oh, I've never heard about your brand is weak. And you say, sir, would you prefer to work with a huge brand that delivers poor quality, or with a new brand that will do everything to keep you satisfied? You ask a question. You don't brag about yourself, right? So also, again, if you didn't listen to me at all today and you just remember this, it's gonna help you. It's gonna help you a lot. So remember, whenever somebody is objecting, the first thing you want to do is to ask a question. And if you don't want to think about kind of questions you can ask, just remember this one. Could you be more specific? What do you mean by that? Could you be more specific? This is too expensive. Also, could you be more specific? I don't like your brand. Oh, could you be more specific? If you don't know, if you're nervous, just always remember, could you be more specific? Will most of the time work for you. Please, next slide. Secret number 9. If you don't open well, you will never get to close. Okay? How many times you've heard about this sales closing workshop, top tricks to close the sale? It's all bullshit, guys. Don't forget about closing. If you don't open well, you will never even get to the moment when you are allowed to ask the client a question, closing question. The biggest problem with salespeople all over the world, apart from the fact that they are chasing wrong prospects, is that they sell out of order. There is a process in a meeting. First, you ask questions, you determine the needs, the goals, and the problem. You ask as many questions as you can. Then, by doing that, you build trust and credibility. Then you are allowed to tell the client about your offering. And after that, you ask the client the confirming questions, the very natural questions. So how does it sound? Does it make sense to you so far? Do you have any additional questions? And the client tells you no. It's like, perfect. So if you just authorize this agreement, we can get started right away. There are no tricks for closing, guys. Closing is a natural occurrence as long as you remember what is the structure of the meeting. So you open with questions, you build trust with the client, then you present the right product for the right customer, and then the sale will close itself. But you have to have balls to ask for the money, right? So you have to grow that confidence to ask this question. Does it make sense to you? The client says yes. You're like, okay, perfect. Authorize this agreement. We're starting right away. And a little trick. I told you I won't tell you tricks, but this is a trick. People hate signing contracts, but they love authorizing agreements. So forget about the word contract and forget about the word sign. Because if you sign something, you feel like, oh my God, I'm putting myself in some legal trouble. But if you're authorizing it, you feel like a no-gap because you authorize something to happen. So from now on, you don't ask your client to sign the contract, you ask the client to authorize agreements. Okay? Then the next slide, and the last one, and the easiest one, smile and enjoy. Sales is fun. It's like an intellectual game with a client in front of you. So enjoy it, and you will love it. And of course, there is a lot of rejection, and there is a lot of failure, but in the end, just treat it as a game, and it's fun. So this is all for me. These are my contact details. Sorry if you could change the slide. Hello? You can change the slide? Great things never come from comfort zone. So guys, these skills I told you about, if only these skills are keeping you from making more money, with all due respect, you would be silly if you don't work on it. Yeah? So work on it. If you are afraid, force yourself to do this thing, and you will be all right. And if you can change the slide again. These are my contact details. My email and my LinkedIn, feel free to add me. If you have any kind of questions, just let me know. If you want to learn more about sales, also let me know, that maybe we can organize workshop for female entrepreneurs, so we can learn a lot more about selling. And on the 3rd and 4th of December, my company in cooperation with PwC, we're organizing a training event in 4 Points. So also, if you're interested in attending, just let me know. Okay? Thank you. I hope I didn't take so long.
Thank you so much. I think you say so long, you're already Nigerian. I got an organ. Fantastic. You know, when you say you sign an agreement, it always feels like a post commit your life or something. I just care. What do you call it again? Authorized agreement. Ah! Oh my! Wow, English. It's not an authorized agreement. Okay, nice one. So I'm going to just take 1 or 2 questions and then go straight to the other one. From someone who hasn't said anything at all, I want to go to everybody. You asked the question, you said something earlier, ma. But you said something, you have the microphone. Somebody else hasn't at all for the team. Thank you, ma. So who am I giving up opportunity to? If you haven't said anything at all today and you want to? You want to ask any questions? Or you're just admiring the car and just hearing and not listening? And just, you know. No questions? Okay, then that means I can allow you to speak.
It was very interesting. Justina. No, Justina is fine. I'll call you Justina. It's not, yeah, okay. It was very interesting, the point you made about preparation and Googling. Because I just made a similar mistake, and I remember sending a proposal to someone, and I didn't do anything. And then I sent the soft copy, and then immediately, literally within about 15 minutes, I heard back from the lady in his department saying that I got his title wrong, and that could you effect the correction? And my question to you is that how likely is it that the reason why he didn't respond to the initial proposal because I completely got his title wrong? How likely is it?
Ladies and gentlemen, you have to remember that whatever you send by email or any kind of document you give to the company, it's a permanent reflection of how they will look at you. So if you are the smartest, the nicest, and the most professional person, but you make spelling mistakes in the email, they will think you're stupid. No, I'm sorry to say that, but we do that. We judge people based on these little things. So make sure you double check this thing, whatever you send, because it will stay there forever. Even if you send another email 2 minutes later correcting it, you already made an impression. That was bad. Like I just sent a proposal to Orlando, and I did not notice that there was one place where I put Union Bank because I was doing homework. So luckily, I sent it to my very good friend who works in Orlando. So first thing he did, like to say, Justina, typo in the email. So it didn't reach the person I needed to reach. But we all do it, guys. We all do it. So double check this thing, because it would be a pity if somebody judges you just because of the typo or just because of the wrong title. Yeah?
I remember some quotes you said that even somewhere, and then you wrote Mr. because the name was Bingo. So she felt, because the name was Bingo, she wrote Mrs. Bingo, and it was a Mr. And then, okay, she didn't get the job, long and short. And I think I mean, who would, you have thought that a man is very bingo, not males that bingos. Okay, all right. The bold man in our midst wants to ask a question. Please let me clap for this man, but be bold enough.
You mentioned in your presentation about authorizing agreements and not signing a contract, but sounds nice. I was just wondering. Oh, my name is Rudolph Muller. Right. I have a public relations company in Lagos. What happens in Nigeria, of course, if you don't push for the signing of the contract and you ask for what I love, please get me right, authorization of the agreement, what happens is the delays. And we know in Nigeria a lot of delays can happen. So between these two things, how can we push forward, still being nice, the authorization of the agreement?
All of you are sounding. We know in Nigeria, already part of us already. Okay, that's cool.
Well, I think me and Rudolph were already West obvious. We're not doing those anymore, Thank you for this question. It's a very good question because I think I did not make myself clear before. Guys, it's only about semantics. Asking to authorize an agreement, it's asking to sign the deal. That's it. I do a little trick with that, and I recommend you to do this too, especially ladies, because we can do a lot more with a nice smile than men can do. So let's use that, right? So you want the person to sign the contract. You take your nice pen, you give him the pen, and you say, if you just authorize this agreement, we can get started right away. The moment you pass the pen to the other person and he grabs the pen, yeah? It's a little thing, just give the pen, and it's very natural. You're just being nice, you're giving the person the tool to sign the deal. So it's only about semantics. If at this moment the person tells you, oh no, Justina, I did not decide to work with you yet, you go back to facing objection phase. You say like, oh sir, oh I'm sorry, I must have hurried too much. Please tell me, do you have any additional questions that you would like to have about me or my company before letting us serve you? Then you answer this question. Once the client is okay with what you said, you ask him, does it make sense to you so far? The client says yes. He said, like, perfect. Then if you just authorize this agreement, we'll get started right away. Yeah? So you can take clients in circles respectfully, and it will work sooner or later, unless the client doesn't want to buy. The other thing that comes out a lot is I have to think it over. I want to shoot myself anytime I have to think it over. You know why, guys? Because I have to think it over means two things. It means yes or it means no. There is nothing in between. All right? If somebody tells you, I have to think it over, and you ask this question, oh sir, what exactly do you want to think over? And that person is not able to give you the answer, it means the person is lying and they don't want to buy. They just don't want to hurt your feelings because you're a nice lady. So they prefer to drag you for months chasing them and waste your time, right? So what I do personally, I tell my clients, so you said I have to think it over. Let me share something personal with you. I have been working in sales for over 10 years, and I have noticed that if clients tell me I have to think it over, it means or yes or no. So please tell me if that's yes, because if it's a no, there is no problem. I won't cry here. You won't hurt my feelings. So just tell me straight away, is it a yes or no? Or do you have a reason that you want to think it over? And like this, we're going to take advantage of the situation and we'll discuss it right now. Yeah? So don't let the client tell you that.
It's amazing how to that because I'm getting it. Am I the only person doing that way? I'm really getting what you're saying. Anyways, okay. The last person speaking to us is Abiodun Thor, and he's the lead consultant, Rainy Lemon. So Abiodun will speak to us for 15 minutes on social media, the role of social media in entrepreneurship, driving ROI from social media investment. What is ROI? Please school us.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Abiodun Thor. Just to answer your question, ROI simply means return on investment, and that simply means if you spend 10 naira on something and that 10 naira yielded like 3 naira, then you have basically had 3 naira return on investment. So basically, I'm going to be sharing some of our experiences at Rainy Lemon with you, and as such, you'll be able to get one or two things. How many of us have been in business for over 3 years? All right, fantastic. How many over 10 years? Okay, how many of us in IT, like IT, business of IT? Okay, yeah, I guess. All right, fantastic. So at Crazy Lemon, basically, we help brands and small businesses to create digital strategies and then do a lot of interesting things with them online, and especially with analytics. So I'm going to be sharing some of our experiences that we have learned along the way that you can also apply to your business. And then if you need our help, I'll be glad to help you. Right. So if you're online and you have a smartphone.
Sorry, please, please. It's not fair when someone is talking and then you are distracting the person. I mean, it's not nice. Please. Let's just listen to what he has to say. So please, bring the voice down, and if you're talking, very, very, please. Thank you.
All right, and I promise I will not bore you. I will keep it very short. And if you have any questions, my email will be displayed, and you can see me afterwards, or any of my colleagues in the given. All right, so a typical consumer today is really like quote and unquote bombarded with information, and we have different channels at which marketers and business people try to connect with us. And if you look at it from email to direct to paid and all of those things, you are getting all communications for you to be able to perform certain actions. Is that correct? You having a smartphone already, you are open to the world and you have like tons of information on a daily basis. Now, for you to be able to get your clients to buy something from you or to use your product or to use your service, they typically go through this stage, and it's very crucial for you as a business to have that offline and transmit that to online, because usually people don't buy immediately. The only times people buy immediately is because they have thought it through, they have gone through these stages of consideration and intent stage before finally buying. And those moments, we call them moments of truth because it's very essential. Next. All right, so some campaigns, next. These are some of the campaigns that have happened in Nigeria. And please, this wasn't my fault. I guess it's a PC, but that's by the way. Right, so these are some of the major campaigns that some businesses have been able to do in the Nigerian space in the last 1 year. And you will agree with me that some of them really connected to you, and some of them, sometimes that, and they keep reoccurring, in your mind, even when you are sleeping. I remember at the time during the election period, I got heavy dose of a particular political aspirant campaign, such that while I was sleeping, I was actually dreaming about that ad. It could be very, very interesting. So basically, what I'm saying here is that as small businesses, we can actually use the power of digital to our advantage. The fact that you have a smartphone means you have a lot of things that you can do with it. And you can start asking the right questions and you can be able to get help next. All right, and this leads me to that as much as technology impacts consumers, it has greater impact on businesses. And that's why we as small businesses, we cannot afford not to take advantage of these things. If you are not doing it, because one of the questions that I got at the particular time was, the lady said she was afraid of technology, and I said, no, technology wasn't designed to be afraid of. You just need to understand it and use the ones to your advantage. You have people who are positioned that you can actually ask questions, walk you through, obviously, learn more about so that you can be able to take advantage of them and get more ROI. And as such, if you look at in Nigeria, mobile is penetrating a lot of things in Nigeria. And as such, connected devices are creating huge possibilities. It means you with your small business, me, myself, and I incorporated, you can own a small space in the digital space. And such, you can be able to do interesting things with that small space. I remember particularly, yes, I think she shared a story at the last conference. I was seated. It's very huge and very interesting what a $100 or $400 ad budget can do to you. These are things you cannot think of when you think of print or billboard or any of those things. So my point is, if you have a smart step into the game, and the fact that it means that you can actually do much more than you are currently doing. Next. All right. Yeah. So because you have a smartphone, your consumers' emotive moment of truth will likely happen on mobile. And that's why how many of us have a website here? If you have a website, make sure you visit your website just like a regular visitor, especially on a mobile device. Then you can understand the kind of pain your customers are going through. The one thing that we have learned and really learned is that when customers or potential customers visit your website or visit your digital portals and they don't have a very nice mobile experience, most likely they will just do what? They will just go away. Very less likely they will contact you that your website is displaying badly on mobile. Or another example is when they hit a pop-up page. A pop-up page simply is a resource not available page. So my point is, as customers, while we focus on the nitty-gritty, people are actually checking us out. Some of us need to understand how your digital customer behave. And the interesting thing is that when you are offline, when you meet your customers one-on-one, you can actually convince them and do a lot of things with them and try to persuade them to buy. But online is usually instant, especially on mobile. Nobody has the time to spend on bandwidth. Another thing is load time. You want to check all of those things with your developer or with your digital agency to be able to optimize those expenses because they all count, and those are things that forms your consumer or your potential consumer's perception of your value or perception of your brand. It's very essential for us to also take the digital game to the A level because your customers are really very impatient on mobile. Next slide, please. Next slide. All right. So, like I was saying, these are some of the expenses that we had. And this is an example of a pop-up page, and this is an example of security is another interesting thing that you need to also learn about. You do not have to be like a nerd for you to do it. You have consultants around that you can actually speak with, and this is very interesting. When I saw it, I don't know what's going on there. Yeah. So basically, competition is not smiling, and as such, you must be able to look at what is going on and how you can plug your brand into those things. Next slide, please. All right. Now I want to ask this question, please. I want direct feedback. I want direct feedback. Now let's assume that we're in a board of directors, in a board meeting, and we're trying to make a decision. Let's say we are producing this ABC, this water. Are we clear? Now I want to do some digital campaign. Are we together? We want to do a digital campaign and we want to use a particular brand or an artist, a particular artist. We have two options. We can only choose one of the two options. We cannot choose the both and we cannot choose any other one. Right. So we are selling water and we want to make a decision. Now, who can tell me out of these two artists, next slide? Out of these two artists, next one. Out of these two artists, which, by the way, disclaimer, I don't work for any of them. So, I'm just regular, just like you. So, which one will you go with and why? In one sentence.
I'll do Inyanya because he looks fit and looks as someone takes water and he exercises a lot. Just on that basis, not because of anything.
All right. Any other takers?
That would be the leader because of the controversies.
Interesting. Any other? So we have seen she decided to go with Inyanya and decided to go with Davido. Is that correct? Remember, we are business people here. We are business people and we are trying to make a serious business decision. We have 10 million to put on one of those two, right? Interesting question. I like that question. All right, last one, please.
I think I'll get more with Inyanya. So I'll go with Inyanya because I can then tap into the Eastern market as well as the market in Lagos.
Very fantastic. Now she says she'll go with Inyanya. Why? Because Inyanya had some mileage in the East. Now, ladies and gentlemen, everybody have expressed their opinions, right? Now, none of the answers is correct or wrong. I'm trying to buttress a point. We all have opinions about what is best for our company. But most of the things that we have expressed are based on opinions. And ladies and gentlemen, we cannot afford to run our business based on opinions. We need concrete information. We need concrete data. We need concrete knowledge about our business, especially our consumers, digital consumers. Because if you don't know what they're doing or what page they're visiting, you won't be able to convert them. It's just like the same cycle of process that Josina told us about now. You know, the same way it works offline, the same way it works online. You know, you'll be able to understand how they behave, and as such, you can be able to optimize their experience and do more of what they like and do less of what they don't like. So if you sell particular product, maybe you're on an e-commerce store, and you notice that this particular product, people, you know, you want to do more of those things such that, you know, to build a brand around that. And as such, we can, you know, some of us, some business don't even have a website at all. And the interesting thing is people are Googling. They are finding you or finding you by your brand. You know, sometimes it will be very tough to explain some things that some of us do. But if we look at our business through the eyes of a consumer, then we can better position our brand to them. Next slide, please. Right. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to feel look up. Now, I want to ask you a question again. Now, there's a particular company, so they have been doing poorly. So that company suddenly realized they should back somewhere. And so the company for this book doing poorly. And so they have been drinking. So can you go back? Go back. And can you click on that black ring? No. Yeah, can you click on this? Right. No. Go back. Yeah, just click. No. Just go on. All right. Yeah. Right. So basically, that's company they do. Yeah. So can you click on this now? Yeah. Can you click? All right. No, just click. Right. Let's click. All right. So. All right. Don't worry. All right, so basically that company, they do a lot of things and they notice a particular spike in their traffic. But unfortunately, they don't know where the traffic was coming from. And I can share the video with you if you are interested. They don't know where the traffic is coming from. And as such, they decide to increase their production. They decide to increase their order to ship to a particular region where they are getting the truth from. And the funny part was that the click was actually coming from one source. And that source was a baby who was doing random clicking and buying a particular product. Right. So my point there is for you to be able to understand your consumers, especially digital consumers, to be able to do more of what they like and do less of what they don't like. So those are some of the things that we are doing. So I will basically share an experience that we work with a particular social enterprise called Budget. So Budget came to us earlier last year, and then they spoke to us that they would like to get some specific goals about their clients and about their business. And as such, they want to have clear insight about their user interaction from your point of entry and to point of exit. And they want to be able to understand some basic behavior of their clients. And as such, so we engage them and decide to do a campaign. And I'm sure some of you must have seen the Ask Questions campaign. So those are some of the things that we were able to do with them last year. And we were able to get some interesting insights for them. And they were able to see what happens on their website. Importantly, what were being downloaded more. You know, if you know Budget very well, they publish reports and they publish budgets for states. So they're able to know that, okay, a particular state has more demand more than other states. And as well, they're able to focus their resources to those things. And as well, they're able to do interesting things. Right. Next slide. Next slide. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope I've been able to, with these few words of mine, I've been able to convince you and never to confuse you that detailed strategy is one of the best things that can ever happen to your business. Thank you. If you want to reach out to me, you can, that's my email, and we're willing to take more questions at the back. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I heard that last is you're not confused, you're not confused. Okay, does anybody have questions for him? One or two questions for him? You guys are not listening because it's IT, the very techy things. Exactly. And then the juicy part had already gone. Does anybody have any questions for him? No, I don't think so. Okay, Tori will be giving us her closing remarks because we're done already. And we'll be giving shortly. Auntie Tori, I've had a fantastic time here today. I'm sure everybody has. Auntie Titi, where are you going to? Titi, where are you going? Let's share the place. Where are you going? Tori wants to say something.
Okay. I just want to say thank you to everybody, and I'm really, really grateful for everyone that's really helped me, because it's been a combination of people like Ella from the Landmark that supported me. We really didn't have that much money to put together for this, but everyone had sort of clubbed in because they really believe in what we're doing. And I'm just so proud of all the women in here, because I think that women entrepreneurs is what's going to make our country great. I think if you guys succeed and do really well, then Nigeria is definitely going to be on top. I want you to just keep on top of what we're doing with WowWe. Send me emails, text me, let me know what you're doing with your business, and just, you know, just keep rocking. I don't really know what to say. But anyway, thanks for coming, and enjoy the rest of the day.
Okay. I think the masterclass for two, so if you're supposed to be part of that, please be part of it. But I think I don't want to be able to just sit down, enjoy the ambience. All right, see you guys next time. Have a fantastic